lawfully wedded and the power invested in me. You got to say all that going ball.
I told her that.
You got to say all that. That's
traditional.
She's
like they want you to provide the children.
Well, that's because you probably who you're dealing with. I can understand that. That's all that is. All right, y'all. We get praise, esteem, and honor to Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach today. They pick us up at John chapter 5, verse 39. I just forgot to text it. I meant to do it the same day. We got caught up doing something and forgot. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, of whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would believe me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? Shalom, Brother Herman. All esteem and praise to Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. 1 Timothy 3 and 14. What's new? A blueberry and ginger, nigga. Rise and grow. And glow. Whoa. Pause. That's what she said. Shalom, Tavon, man. What's happening with you? Shalom. Come on. Shalom, Master of Photography, man. Shalom, Brother Robert. All right, y'all. 1 Timothy 3 and 14. These things I write unto you, hoping to come unto you shortly. But if I tarry long, that you ought to behave yourself in the house of Elohim, which is the assay of the living Elohim, and the pillar and ground of the truth. Without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. Elohim was manifested in the flesh, justified in the Ruach, seen of Malachim, preached on the Gentile, believed on in the world, and received up into esteem. Let's come over here to Numbers chapter 5. As we going through, law-wise, just so y'all know about offerings, because you may know, you may not know. I know that's not something that anybody really talk about in great detail. By the grace of Yahuwah, over the last 12 plus years, we try to make sure that we deal with everything in great detail, no matter what it is. Shalom, Jay. No matter what it is. You know what I'm saying? By the grace of the Lord, check the resume. That ain't just nothing to be said. We try to go through everything with great detail. Shalom, Brother Joseph, for no other purpose than because you need to know. Shalom, Brother Omar, because you need to know. You need to know what's in the word. You need to know why it's in the word, and not just know it, but understand why it's there. Because as he told you, get me Isaiah 46 and 10, I believe. White lady.
So declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure.
What's good, Zo?
Calling a ravenous bird from the east, the man that
read it again, 46 and 10.
Declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times. Declaring the end from the beginning.
Declaring the end from the beginning.
And from ancient times that are not done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure.
That's why we look at this stuff in the law. Because he said he tell you the end from the beginning. So what people really got the game twisted on, because they really don't know, but to put it in the most plainest speech, Shalom, Sister Gwen, that I could put it in is, you read the New Testament when you read Genesis and Malachi, truth be told, and you read in the Old Testament when you read Matthew to Revelation. Truth be told, you know what I'm talking about? Now you have to remember this here, right? He told you the end from the beginning, so he's telling you the beginning at the end. So when you read these epistle letters, that's why you must reference them back. You must reference them back to the law and to the prophets. If you don't, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I've told you that. I've always told y'all that. I told Muffin that from day one. If you read something in them letters, you must validate it in the old. Where you think they got it from? Where you think they got it from? You thought they came up with that on their own? No. So that means he's telling you the end from the beginning. So what you see in these laws is pointing to you to what's going down on the back end. Read them Matthew 13:52 on the house.
Then said he unto them, therefore every scribe instructed unto the Malkuth of Shamaim is like unto a man, a
like
householder.
unto a who?
Unto a man.
Like unto a what?
A man, a householder, which bring forth out of his treasure new and old.
Bring forth out of his treasure things new and old. Shalom, mother's wrong. Thing new and old. That's how the gang go, baby. Numbers chapter 5. I pick it up at verse 1. Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, command the sons of Yasharal, they put out of the camp every leper, everyone that have an issue, whosoever is defiled by the dead. See, pause. He said, whoever defiled by the dead. Come on and get me Luke chapter 9 real quick, man. Give me verse 57. Asheron, what's good, my G?
And it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain said unto him, Lord, I will follow you wheresoever you go. Yahushua said unto him, foxes have holes and birds of the air nests, but the Son of Man have not where to lay his head.
Pause. Now, see, this goes back to some old video we did years ago, and him making this statement is referring to how priests don't have an inheritance. You understand? And that don't change. They don't have an inheritance because Yahuwah is their inheritance. See, a brother I know, he sent me a video because he talked about this type of stuff all the time based off of his experiences in the Christian church. But it was about how women like worship the pastor. You know what I'm talking about? This was African people who was used for this particular. It wasn't no real stuff. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Lady come in and she bow down. Shalom, Sister Regina. Calling this man all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Disregarding her husband and all this type of stuff. And I told him, and he just sent it to me to see, you know what I'm saying, my viewpoint on it. Like, even before the word, I ain't got no viewpoint on it. Because I already know that if a woman will do you like that while you standing right there, she don't like you anyway. You know what I'm talking about? She don't like you anyway. Or you haven't done the particular maintenance to where she wouldn't be enthralled by another man in this particular fashion. And what I mean by that, I mean a man who's in a higher station than you. You know, of course, some of y'all see this stuff where these people are upset and complaining because women dropping a stack on Chris Brown. You shouldn't be shocked by that because in reality, most women are groupies. You know what I'm talking about? If a man has wealth and status, she's going to be enamored with that man. Now, it's going to be even higher if she deems that man to be attractive, as I've told you many, many times before. Shalom, Yedadiah, man. What's happening with you? You don't see, there's no men posted up at a WNBA game trying to find Angel Reese. Ain't no bunch of men lined up, posted up at no hotel looking for her. But you're going to find a bunch of women anywhere where there's a man of great means and status looking for him. You know what I'm talking about? That's just how the game goes. You just have to know that. You know what I'm saying? Shalom, Hashem, man. You know what I'm talking about? So one time, man, I told you, like, old head, like, told me when I was locked up, man, you're going to be a preacher. First thing came to my mind was, I'm like, hell no. Actually, I said something else. You know what I'm saying? And y'all know that, right? Because I at one time in my life, I cursed very voraciously, and consistently, because that's just how I chose to communicate at that particular time. I didn't have to. I just enjoyed it. You know, gave word. It gave sentence structure and the relaying of sentiment so much more effect. You know what I'm talking about? But that's just me personally. Nevertheless, but one thing that I've always known in my entire life is that women are attracted to a few things, power being one of them, status being another, and obviously wealth being the third. See, most of the time people talk about dudes with money, but a lot of dudes don't really discuss that women are enamored with power and status. You know what I'm talking about? So when you deal with a pastor, every pastor don't have wealth, but in the community that he is in, he has power and status. You know what I'm talking about? So if you see a group of women who are overly, you know what I'm talking about? And see, this is what people get it twisted. We're not talking about communication. We're talking about overindulgence and reverence. You know what I'm talking about? Indeed, good sir. Overindulgence and reverence. Seeking to serve and minister to the pastor before your husband. See, that's the pastor's fault. Because he's supposed to stop that. He never supposed to let it get that far. You know what I'm saying? No man of Elohim would allow that to get that far. You know what I'm talking about? See, there's a difference because we talked about this type of stuff the other day, but I want to reference it back to this point that I'm making because I'm about to make another point because it came to my head earlier in the week and we didn't go over it. And I want to go over it because it's pertaining to what we're discussing. But before we do that, Romans 16, give me verse 1.
I commend unto you Phoebe, our sister, which is a servant of the assembly, which is at Cenchrea.
She's a what?
A servant of the assembly.
What up?
That you receive her in the Lord as becomes saints, and that you assist her in whatsoever business she have need of.
Pause. Did it say she was the servant of the bishop?
Of the assembly.
Or the apostle?
The assembly.
Or the preacher?
Of the assembly.
Or the teacher?
The assembly.
See, that's the first mistake these pussy niggas be making. And I mean that literally. Because you got to be a real deal sucker to take a woman, whether she's single or married, and make her your personal servant. You know what I'm talking about? What I mean by that, I'm not talking about delegating and relaying tasks or this woman coming to you saying, hey, what can... See, this is the difference, right? Because it says she was a servant of the assembly. So that means she sought to do work that pertained to the whole and not to him. You understand? See, a lot of these dudes, they want the women to serve the him and not the whole. See, you out of pocket. See, that's how that stuff begins to fester, if you will. See, a lot of gentlemen, they like that. Let me tell y'all something. I be telling y'all this, but y'all think I be lying. A lot of men don't get female attention like that. You understand? They don't. So when they get in certain positions in life to where now they're starting to garner some level of female attention, the wrong type of man in that circumstance is going to exploit it. He's going to exploit it. And that doesn't necessarily mean that he will exploit her for physical dalliances, if you will. Some type of pleasuring of the flesh. That's not necessarily the case. You know what I'm talking about? Now, he had gave a scenario about dudes who won't have single women tied up, you know what I'm talking about, serving them and won't even allow. But see, I don't even know how that works. Because see, that's cross like I don't know what's going on in these churches, but the stuff that niggas describing is asinine. It's asinine. Because it's not the pastor's job to marry you off. Because that's what he was referring to. That's not his job. It's not his job to play matchmaker. Because if it is his job to marry you off, you know where you would be at. That means you would be under his house and under his control. See, if you don't live with me, it's not my job to find you a husband. If you're talking about culturally and how this stuff's set up, that's not my job. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not going to hinder you finding a husband, but it's not my job to go, especially when we talk about, because let's just be honest. Because a lot of times, a lot of bruising people in the church don't want to be honest. We're not talking about people who growing up from a child. You know what I'm talking about? And then you trying to find them a suitable mate when they become of marriageable age. You're talking about big, grown, rusty people. It's not my job to find no 30-year-old woman, no husband. That's not my job. You're grown. You're not even a virgin. You might have children. That's not my job. You know what I'm talking about? That's your job to interact with one another and set that up. That's not my job. See, does that stuff come in because you see the stuff that you see in the Christian church and you think that this is how the text is supposed to operate? The text don't dictate for no bishop to find no member, no husband, to find no member, no wife. That's not his job. That's not his job. His job is to facilitate the word and the ministry towards the people. That's his job. That's your family's job. I mention this for a reason because this is how all this stuff get intertwined. Because you putting all this stuff on this one person and this is how he exploits it. That's not his job. That's your family's job. Now, whether your family is in the word or not, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm just talking about period. It's not the pastor's job to find you a spouse. It's your parents' job. Period, point blank. You know what I'm talking about? That boy said, using church is eat harmony. I won't go that far, but that's hilarious. It's more so some people had this, well, if you the pastor and it's a single sister in here, you're supposed to help her get married. No, I'm not. I'm supposed to minister to the word that she can be a daughter of Elohim. It's not my job to get her a husband. It's not my job to help you start a business. Because see, that's not ministry. That's something totally different. I'm outside of the will of Yahuwah, meaning not that it's a sin, but I'm outside the will of Yahuwah for my job description, because that's personal stuff. You know what I'm talking about? That's personal stuff. That has nothing to do with the word. Nothing. That's not my job. But this is how inappropriate interactions begin, because you crossing over. See, you know what a head of a congregation would do? He would give that woman a task, and that woman wouldn't come to him till she was done with it. And 9 times out of 10, the task wouldn't have anything that would relate to him personally. See, these dudes be sending women to do stuff for them personally, instead of read that Romans 16 again.
See, I commend you unto Phoebe, our sister, which is a servant of the assembly.
Of the who?
Of the assembly.
Now read me Hebrews 6 and 10. She was a servant of the assembly. That's not a servant of the pastor. I'm focusing in this on because maybe nobody's taking the time to show the difference. You understand? See, it's different like when we read about, okay, them women ministered to the Lord of their substance. This man ain't had nowhere to lay his head at. He going from here, he going from there, he going from here, he going from there. They making sure he can eat. The same way the Shumanite woman did that for Elisha. But guess what? She had a husband. She wasn't closely intertwined with Elisha and what he had going on. He said, let's just make sure he got somewhere to lay at and some food to put in his stomach when he come by here. Go ahead, man. We might have to read that.
You say, for Elohim not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love.
He's not on what?
Unrighteous.
To forget your what?
Work and labor of love.
But what else?
Which you have showed toward his name, and that you have ministered to the saints.
To the who?
To the saints.
To the pastor.
To the saints.
To the bishop.
To the saints.
To the preacher.
To the saints.
My God.
And do minister.
And do serve. I just want you to understand the difference. Maybe nobody talks about it. Maybe nobody cares. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe nobody felt it was important. Maybe we've always been told that it's everybody's duty, you know what I'm talking about, to minister and serve to the pastor. But that's not what he's supposed to be pressing. I'm only mentioning that based on, because that's how that stuff happens. Because we talked about this the other day. Shalom, Brother Mark. A lot of women, a woman is a helpmeet. So it's in her nature to want to do that. Niggas know that and they use it to their advantage. And now this woman begins to disrespect and dishonor her husband, and because she's trying to curry the favor of this man. And it's really the pastor's job to nip that in the bud and say, man, don't do that. What are you doing? You need to do that to your husband. You wilding. He say, indeed, man. You know what I'm talking about? But don't nobody like to do that for whatever reason. Yeah, Sister Regina, that's what he's supposed to do. You ain't supposed to let that woman be like, especially if she got even if she ain't got no husband. If she got a husband, baby, that you good. Because truth be told, you can't be a pastor without a wife. So you already got a wife. So that's what my old lady for. I don't need you to do that for me. Now, if there's certain things that you want to do for the congregation, by all means, baby, just holler at me when you're done with it. Let me woo, woo, woo. You know what I'm talking about? We good. But you talking about, oh, yeah, I need you to do this. Then what the hell he got a wife for? See, that over-the-top stuff, the pastor's supposed to stop that. You're not supposed to let this woman disrespect her husband like that. What's wrong with you? Dudes do it, though. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to, that's not supposed to happen. That's not supposed to happen at all. Because guess what that allow you to be? Reproachable, which means you wouldn't be blameless. And you're supposed to abstain from all appearance of evil and exercise a conscience that is of offense towards Elohim and man. So why would you do that? And this ain't even the question, why would you do it? Why would you want to do it? You know what I'm talking about? That doesn't mean that that the preacher can't have a relationship, if you would, with women who are in the congregation, but there's just certain stuff I'm not trying to do. What you trying to do all that for? I don't need to. I'm also talking about the over-the-top reverence. He's not supposed to let that happen. You know what I'm talking about? He's supposed to stop that. He's not supposed to let that happen. Go back to Romans 16. It's a real fruit soda for you, man.
We say, I commend unto you, Phoebe, sister, which is a servant of the assembly, which is at Synchria, that you receive her in the Lord as become saints, and that you assist her in whatsoever business she have need of.
Notice
you.
he said he told them, y'all make sure you help her and whatever she got going on. So that's letting you know that he's not intimately involved in what they got going on, because you know what was more important? Excuse me. The service to the saints. That was the most important thing. Go ahead.
For she had been a succor of many.
She's been a help to many and myself also. My God, today. See, of course, you know, those are the good works that get a woman name remembered in heaven. You understand? That's why he said, if a widow thoroughly reported a good works, has she washed the saints' feet? Remember, that's what got Dorcas rose from the dead. Let's take a look at it. I think it's Acts 9. Yeah, all them talking about you, my Lord and Master, and all that old extra stuff. That's the preacher. What's wrong with you? And I ain't talking about the woman. I'm talking about the dude. Because you're not supposed to let her do that. You're not supposed to let her do that. Again, this still dealing with the stuff we talking about. You know how to know. See, the preacher got to know how to behave himself in the house of God. You ain't supposed to do that. That's why we read that stuff the other day. You ain't supposed to be ruling over each other with rigor. I told y'all this a few months back. Niggas don't even call the pastor by his name. Man, that's a job title, cuz. That's a job title. I'm not saying you can't have respect. We can read that, but I'm not saying you can't have respect for this man. It's going too far because you putting this nigga on a pedestal and he letting you. See, my issue is not the fact that the people do it. It's the fact that the preacher letting you. Because he the one supposed to say, nah, don't do that. Don't do that. You ain't got to do all that. That's not necessary. You know what I'm talking about? We good on that. Stop. Niggas not even stopping it. They're not even stopping it. Because these dudes like the attention. You know what I'm talking about? Like, no, you ain't got to do all that. That's unnecessary. Continue. Where you at?
Who's going to Acts 9?
Acts 9. Oh, yeah. Let me tell me about verse 36. I might be in the wrong spot, but we'll find out. Yeah, 32.
And it came to pass as Peter passed throughout all, he came down also to the saints which dwelt at Lydda, and there he found a certain man named Aeneas.
It was a football player named that had that name. Aeneas Williams. You ever heard of him? Hell no. Played cornerback for the Cardinals. Nigga, one of the greatest players to ever play professional football at his position. Go ahead. Black man, by the way.
Which had kept his bed 8 years and was sick of the palsy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Peter said unto him what?
Aeneas, Yahushua Mashiach, make you whole. Arise, make your bed. And he arose immediately.
And all that dwelt?
And Lydda and Saron saw him and turned to the Lord.
Now, see, notice all these people saw him. You know why? Because signs and wonders are for those who don't believe. They seen that. They said they turned to the Lord because they knew this man was down bad. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, there was at Joppa a certain disciple named
Paul.
Tabitha.
See, this goes into the instance, and this is just a case for people who ain't never been here, right? You read Exodus chapter 4, and you'll see Moses and Aaron working signs and wonders in order to before they went to Israel and told them what Yahuwah had told Moses in chapters 3 and 4. You know what I'm talking about? So when you wondering, when people be like, well, why ain't they signs and wonders? This, that, there, and the third. Remember, he said the signs and wonders were for the apostles. You have to remember, he sent them out to teach the gospel, a gospel that nobody had never heard. So, of course, signs and wonders are going to follow them the same way it happened coming out of Egypt. But we'll deal with that another day. He said he definitely gave Steve Young that concussion at the end of his career. That is facts. I remember that game. That was 1999, either first or second game of the season in 99. Go ahead. He definitely was elite, Brother Omar. He definitely was.
Now, there was at Joppa a certain disciple named Tabitha, which by interpretation is called Dorcas.
Mm-hmm.
This woman was full of good works.
She was full of what?
Good works.
And what else?
Alms deeds, which she did.
Tell them what alms deeds is, man. I'm just reminded of that, because I told you to do around here talking about give alms to do the work of the ministry. Ought to put an arm upside your head. Who you telling? Because, you know, I fooled with the 49ers before we got a Jaguar.
L.A. Mosney, that's mercy, pity.
So alms deeds is showing mercy and pity. You know what that takes us back to? Give me Proverbs 31, man. Give me verse 25.
Strength and honor her clothing. She shall rejoice in things in time to come. She opened her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue the law of kindness.
What's in her tongue?
The law of kindness.
So in her tongue is alms deeds, mercy and pity. That's what a godly woman is. She gonna show good works. That's the work she gonna. That's what the work she gonna represent. See, we live in a time where most of the women who are in the word, they just want to talk. Feel like, oh, let me do this and let me do. Nobody asked you to do all that. You know what I'm talking about? Nobody sent you to do all that. He gave you something to do. You just don't want to do it because it doesn't bring the attention. See, we live in a time period where the men and women are in competition with one another. You know what I'm talking about? I'm going to tell you right now, it's a lot of things in life I'm going to do. And competing with a woman ain't one of them. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not going to do it in no area of life. Before I was in the word, I'm not going to do it. Compete with you for what? For why? I'm talking about to be intimately involved with a woman. I'm not going to be intimately involved with a woman who competing with me. I'm not, because there's no positive interactions that's going to come from that. Because if she's in competition with you, you best believe she thinks she's smarter than you. You know what I'm talking about? She thinks she's better than you. You can't get no positive interaction from no woman who look at you like that. Why you think the Lord couldn't get no positive interaction from the scribes and the Pharisees? They thought he was better than him. Why you think when the man who he gave sight to, he say, hey man, he your teacher. We don't know who he come from. They thought they were better than him. Man, look here, man. Look here, man. You can't do nothing with that. I'm not finna be a part of no ministry where it's women competing with me. I'm finna slide. See, you know what a lot of people probably mean? Y'all niggas don't know how to slide. You want to sit there and fight with her. Our accountability is a woman's kryptonite. I'm finna accountability let her figure that out on her own. Nigga, I'm not finna do that with no grown man. Much less no, I'm not finna be going through all that with you, bro. Sister, I'm not going through all that with you. Good, have it, do it. Knock yourself out. Hope the Lord reward you. I'm out of here. Man, I'm not doing none of that. You know what I'm talking about? People like this here, man, I ain't supposed to fight for nothing. I'm not supposed to do that. I'm going to wash my hands and I'm going to let you go to hell on your own. I ain't going to go to hell with you. What I look like competing with a nigga, man? What I look like? With the word. In competition with, I'm not going to be doing that with you, man. I'm going to let you have that all by yourself. You know what I'm talking about? Brother Joseph said, rebuke not a scorner is something we should read every day. Yeah, you have to, bro. You have to. You just got to slide. You don't see none of the men doing that. They will rebuke the action and then they were gone. I'm not going to sit here and fight with you. I'm going to let the Lord deal with you. That boy said, hit him with that Jada kiss and knock yourself out. Straight bitches because of, I don't put nothing on no feminist movement. You know what I'm saying? It could have a factor. It's just a lot of stuff that a lot of women just want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Now, you would have to ask them what their motivations is. I won't generalize what I perceive the motivation is. I mean, obviously, the motivation is some type of validation through power. You know what I'm saying? Wanting the ability to have power. It don't always necessarily have to be power over men, just power in general. You know what I'm talking about? Some think honestly and earnestly this is what they're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm talking about? They've convinced themselves of that to a certain degree. But that's not my job to figure out, to be 100% honest with you. Like, I wouldn't go to Juanita Bynum and be like, why are you preaching? I don't care. I'm not going to TD Jake's daughter and be like, why are you preaching? I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't care enough to ask her why. I don't care enough to try to figure it out. I'm not even finna argue with her to stop. I'm just not going to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be a part of it. Do you, baby? If the Lord sent you to do it, let him increase it. That's all you got to do. You know what I'm talking about? If that be the case. No, he told you, hey, man, if somebody don't bring this doctrine, don't bid them Godspeed because you be partaker of their evil deeds. But it's more so, man, your life would be a lot more peaceful, just like what Brother Joseph put on there. If you stop trying to fuss and fight and argue with people because they're doing something you feel like they shouldn't be doing. If you don't rebuke them once, you don't rebuke them twice, it's over with. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. But I ain't even talking about no rebuking. I'm talking about, I'm not finna be, you notice that the Lord didn't go around fighting with the scribes knowing that they were in competition with him? I'm telling you, man, when you in competition with somebody, in this circumstance, they look down on you. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. This is not gender specific. If a person is in competition with you, when it comes to this word, they look down on you. They think they're better than you. They think they're smarter than you. They think they're more versed than you. Look here, man. How many times y'all done heard people say these women know the word better than some of these men? That's competition. They looking down on you. I'm not participating in that. You know why? Because I know most people don't know the word well at all. At all. When people say most people know the word better than other people, they're only talking about standard regular doctrine that people argue and discuss on a regular basis. If you was to sit down with somebody and say, let's have a comprehensive overview, you'll find out that nigga don't know no book. You know what I'm talking about? You'll find out real quick. You'll be shocked and amazed that people who you thought knew the word really didn't know it. You know what I'm talking about? That's no disrespect to nobody. See, what I'm trying to get you to understand is don't get caught up in no doctrines. We're talking about a comprehensive overview. Opening up the text like the Ethiopian eunuch. What this means? Is he talking about himself or is he talking about somebody else? What does this mean?
When you told them on Clubhouse that you got to understand the old, and they was like, no, you don't.
Yeah, like you don't know no book. You can't have no conversation with nobody like that. Amen, Brother Herman. You can't have, they don't know the word like that. I'm trying to tell you something real, man. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm not telling you out of no disrespect. Man, most people don't know the word like that. They know their doctrine. And you have to understand the difference. Most people know their doctrine. They don't know the word like that. You know what I'm talking about? And because that's why when y'all have questions, you take to certain people and they don't know nothing. They can't tell you nothing. So then you walk around for years. What does this even mean? That's no disrespect. It's just the reality of the situation, man. That's it. See, one thing I've noticed about a lot of brews is you don't like to hear the reality of the situation if it deal with brews. See, if it deal with everybody else, you'll have that conversation. If it deal with brews, you don't want to have that conversation. The reality, man, is if you step to people, man, in an overview, a comprehensive view of the entirety of the book. Well, people don't know that book like that. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I done seen. You know what I'm talking about? That's the only thing I can go by. But them niggas don't know the word like that. Now, I don't know what y'all experiences are. I can't speak for y'all experiences. Y'all can share your experiences because your experiences are, guess what? Your experiences. You know what I'm talking about? Say they only know the apostles' doctrine within their apostolic denomination, but the book they don't know. I could understand that also. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, most people don't know the word like that. See, let me tell you something, how they get you. This is how they get you. This is real nigga conversation. They get you because they know that you don't know the word like that. So when you hear somebody who's talking about things that you don't know, you believe that they have a strong grasp of the text when it's really, they just know stuff that you don't. That's it. They don't really know the word like that because you know how they get it? They run across somebody who know the word like that. And that's what happened with the scribes and Pharisees. When they ran across Mashiach, they ran across somebody who knew the word like that. They didn't know what to do with him. This is part of the reason why they didn't like him. This is part of the reason why they envied him, because they wish they knew the word like that for the people to look at them like that, but the people never looked at them like that. That's why in Matthew 7, he said he don't speak as one of the scribes, he speaks as somebody who got authority. And them boys didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? They didn't like that. That's why when they asked him, who husband is she? And he say, man, look, check this out. He said, you don't know the power of God or the scriptures. He said, you do err, not knowing the power of Elohim or the scriptures. Let him, man, you don't even know the book. God, what are you talking about? Now, can you imagine a man who popped out of nowhere, who's the carpenter's son, who's looking at the teachers who sit in Moses' seat and tell them all of them, man, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. You don't know no book. Now, how you think the men feel after they hear that? You don't know no book? You don't know no book. This man stood in front of these people and said, man, y'all don't know no book like that. What is you talking about? My God, today. Hashem say Mashiach was bringing out verses that wasn't in a precept pack. That's how you get a lot of brood caught up, because all they got is a precept. Let me tell you something, man. I'm be honest with y'all. The reason why I be asking y'all questions or how I be asking y'all questions, you know what I'm talking about? And not allowing you to give me general answers, you know what I'm talking about? Is because you can't move. Ain't no precept pack coming from up out of here. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't no precept packs around here, man. We sell packs, but we don't sell no precept packs. You know what I'm talking about? We sell plenty packs, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? And we don't sell no trays, no dimes, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Boy, you got to get at least a dub around here, man. 50 slabs, niggas, halves, quarters, and holes, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? And if you feeling really good, you know what I'm saying? We got some weight in the back. Sloan, Sister Kelly. We got some weight in the back, you dig? Sell all that. You need to understand the word in a complete overview. Not just some doctrinal stuff that you can shoot, because I'm not teaching you no word for you to come around here and shoot that off to somebody else. I'm giving you these packs so you can understand it and get high with yourself. Not try to push that off on another person. That way, if you actually talk to another person, you would have command over the subject matter. You know what I'm talking about? See, it does you no good to discuss anything if you don't have command of the subject. Straight up. You already know what it is, Hashem, man. That's right. That's why he was 12 years old, confounding them. And I have to reiterate that from time to time. I do not preach no word for you to take it and run and throw it to somebody else. We teach the word for you to understand it. Now, what he tell you to do with that pack you get, that's between you and him. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't got nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing to do with that. We don't do that around here. You ain't getting no words so you can debate and fight with no doctrine. You in the wrong spot, my G. You might want to go around the corner. We don't do that over here. Indeed, Amuna, indeed. Yeah, we don't do that around here. That's not what we do. That's no disrespect to nobody. I'm just telling you that we don't do that here. Because it might be people who new here, ain't never copped from here before. We don't do that here. That's not how we operate. You know what I'm talking about? We here for the salvation of our souls. I do not operate that way. I don't. So if you're looking for something you can take and battle, because niggas in the past done took stuff we put out here and took it for a battle. Nigga, this ain't no battle. I don't battle, nigga. I'm not a battle rapper. I don't do that. I'm not a fighter, meaning I'm not a boxer. I'm not an MMA. I don't do none of that. That's not what we do. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't mad at nobody who do. That's your business. We don't do that here. So if you don't want to save your soul, you might want to unsubscribe. Straight like that. This channel ain't monetized, ain't gonna be monetized. You know what I'm talking about? If it got monetized, YouTube would just do it. Because I ain't seeking it out. So it doesn't matter to me. You can unsubscribe. Because if you looking for something to get for a debate. Oh, Kalisha said, I haven't heard a woman preach and she knew what she was talking about. My God, today. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we don't do that here. So this might not be the place for you. And that's okay. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't going to be offended. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas get offended. They don't subscribe. They don't want to hear. I remember a nigga told me, he said, man, I told the dude to check out your channel, man. He said he'd rather listen to this brother instead of you. Okay, so what? What that mean to me? Don't mean nothing to me. Look at, man, let me tell you something, man. And y'all gonna find this out, Lord willing, when your time comes. Everybody not supposed to be under your charge. Everybody's not of your flock. Everybody's not going to be of your responsibility. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's not your job to seek out sheep, if you would. I'm not talking about how the Lord put it, seeking out the law. It's not your job to seek out members. is what I mean. It's not your job to seek out people to watch over. That's not your job. He'll give you the people who he wants you to care for. And then you care for them. And if somebody don't want to be under your care, you shouldn't take no offense to it. That ain't got nothing to do with you. Just be concerned with those who are under your care, because they your responsibility. And that's it. It's not that hard. You know what I'm saying? It's not that hard. Come on with it. Where we at?
I just read Proverbs 31.
Yeah, we good on that. What was that before that? Oh, over here with Dorcas. Read me Acts 9 and 36 one more time.
Now there was at Joppa a certain disciple named Tabitha, which by interpretation is called Dorcas. This woman was full of good works and alms deeds, which she did. Mm-hmm. And it came to pass in those days.
Now we went all of that for you to hear them alms deeds, because any godly woman would be a merciful and compassionate woman to those who are in need, and whatever that need is. Or how we heard how Phoebe was an aid, helping and relief to many, and to the apostle also. Go ahead.
And it came to pass in those days that she was sick and died, whom when they had washed, they laid in her upper chamber. For as much as Lydda was near to Joppa, and the disciples had heard that Peter was there, they sent unto him 2 men, desiring that he would not delay to come to them.
Then Peter arose
and went with them. When he was come, they brought him.
Shalom, my G. It's all good.
And all the widows stood by him weeping and showing the coats and garments which Dorcas made while she was with them.
But Peter
put them all
kneel down
and prayed,
and turning
to the body said, Tabitha, arise.
And she opened her eyes.
And when she saw Peter, she sat up. And he gave her hand and lifted her up. And when she had called the saints and widows, presented her alive.
And it was known
throughout all Joppa, and many believed in the Lord.
You see how that sign by had many people believe in the Lord? Go ahead.
And it came to pass that he tarried many days in Joppa with one Simon, a tanner.
Oh, well, praise Yahuwah, Brother Herman. Praise Yahuwah. Praise Yahuwah. That's the Lord. That man. What was that for him? I can't remember. Oh, yeah. Luke 9. Let's spin all that from Luke 9. Because we were talking about if anybody defiled from the dead outside the camp in Numbers 5.
Verse 59.
Luke 9 and 59. I almost said the wrong thing.
And he said unto another, follow me. But he said, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. Yahushua said unto him, let the dead bury their dead.
Let the dead do what?
Bury their dead.
Let the dead do what?
Bury their dead.
And what I need you to do?
But go you and preach the Malkuth of Elohim.
Notice that he said, let the dead bury the dead. See, he was trying to separate him so he wouldn't be defiled in the camp, if you would. Because, blessed are those who don't go in the way of sin. Listen, that don't mean you can't go see your people, man. Please don't take that. That's what we talking about. But he was telling this man, you want to bury your daddy when the people who burying him just as dead as him, they just breathing. You know the same way how I told you in James, the apostle James told you in his epistle letter, as the body without the spirit, so faith without works is dead. See, people don't understand that. People like to use faith without works is dead to encapsulate many things in life that have absolutely nothing to do with that statement. I know we like to see use the statement, step out on faith. That ain't got nothing to do with you starting no business. That ain't got nothing to do with the will of God. That ain't stepping out on faith. That ain't got nothing to do with him. That ain't got nothing to do with him. Nothing. You going wanting the plan of God, that ain't got nothing to do with him. You know why? Because he didn't make a promise to you where you're doing works according to that promise. That's what faith without works is dead means. Your works are worthless without the faith, but the faith is based off a promise. Unless he promised you directly that I'm going to give you a multi-million-dollar business, then that ain't stepping out on faith, brother. Because that means you stepping out on the reliability of Yahuwah, on the Aman, the Amath, and the Muna of Yahuwah. That ain't got nothing to do with him. Now, if he seek to increase what you got going on, praise be to Yahuwah, but that ain't got nothing to do with him. I'm trying to tell you this stuff so you can separate your life from his will. What I mean by your life, there are certain things that are your things that you want to do. They're not a sin. They're not ungodly. There's nothing wrong with them. You know what I'm talking about? There's nothing wrong with them at all. But you don't need to try to mix him into that. Yeah, stepping out like Abraham. Literally, he promised him something. He said, depart from amongst your kindred and go to the place that I choose. And I make you a blessing to all those who bless you, because blessed are those who blessed you and cursed are those that curse you. That's a promise. That is a promise. That's something he promised him. So now he did work according to said promise to receive what Yahuwah has promised. Faith is based off the promise of Yahuwah. Point blank, period. Ain't no way around that. Say you want God to move, get you out, get you that business. Faithful. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's everything, because people make it generic. Because that's true. Preachers probably do say that in a lot of churches. You know what I'm saying? There's getting promise verse. Because sometimes you'll try to tell yourself, God told me to do this. No, ain't nobody told you to do nothing. You notice every time somebody say God told them to do something, it's always something that directly benefits them, that don't bring no esteem or glory to Yahuwah whatsoever. That man ain't told you to do that. That's you. You just trying to use his name to justify what you're doing. And again, there is nothing wrong per se with certain things that you may want to do, but you don't need to put his name on that. You know how you're supposed to put that? Lord, if I do this and it be your will, increase it if you would, please. You know what I'm talking about? That's it. It's not that hard. We're talking about step out on faith and go move to that city. Go start that bit. That ain't got nothing to do with him. Unless that man, because if he's sending you to a city, guess what he's sending you to that city for? To preach some word. He ain't sending you to no city to go find no wife and start no business and get no job. How that bring honor to him? Do we even care about bringing honor to him? Does that even matter to you? Or do we just want to put his name on everything that we do so we can feel like God stamping our own selfish desires? You know what I'm saying? Because self-interest could be the way that you find yourself in hell. You know what I'm talking about? That's right, Brother Nate. Brother Nate say, I like serving the Lord, but I don't confuse work and ministry. Because all I'm trying to get you to understand is you have to know how to separate, and I like the verbiage that Nate used, better not to separate your work from the ministry, because they're two different things. They're two different. It is very few people who their work in the ministry meet together. Because like how you read about Phoebe being a help to all them people, that would be separate from what she did for a living. Just like what you look at Dorcas, say she was full of good works and alms deeds, but also that she, even with that, they say she sold coats and garments. Her sewing coats and garments is separate from the alms deeds and good works that she doing. The same way that Paul was a tent maker. That's separate from the work he was doing. Indeed, Sister Gwen. Yeah, amen, Brother Herman. If y'all willing, it'll be good for it. That's all you can ask. You know how we know this? Because he said, give us this day our daily bread. That's what you're supposed to ask for. Anything else is an add-on. Didn't he say, seek you the kingdom of Elohim first and his righteousness, all that stuff be added unto you? No, we got to stop that. And I'm only saying that because it genders a bad thought process, you dig? That's all. I'm not trying to discourage or knock anybody from any hopes and plans that they may want to do certain things in their life. I'm not trying to dissuade you from any of that. You sending me to do this when this only benefits you. You know what I'm talking about? Because if he send you to do something, it's going to bring esteem to his name. Period, point blank. It's going to bring esteem to his name. You getting a job ain't bringing no esteem to his name. You starting a business, that is not bringing no esteem to his name. It's not. And when I say esteem to his name, of course, you can get the esteem that if it go the way you want and you give thanks and praise to him. But when he send you to do something, it's going to be a comprehensive esteem from a multitude of people, believers and non-believers alike. Indeed, Amuna, and she said being certified in culinary arts is an add-on, nothing to do with what I may do within the assembly. Again, business versus ministry. And you just have to, because you got to know how to behave yourself in the house of Elohim, so you have to be able to make the difference between the two. Because business is separate from him. I think we talked about this the other day. Like, I think I did mention this is like the church that owned all them apartments on Alameda. I don't know if they still own. Nah, that's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to take none of Yahuwah's money to do that and talk about, oh, we're doing this for the people. No, you're not. You're doing that for yourself. You know what I'm talking about? And you try to convince yourself that you're doing it for God's people and for God. But what is that money going towards? What is you doing with it? You know what I'm talking about? Because truth be told, if you was to do something like that, because remember, he told you don't make my house a house of merchandise. That's what the man said. So that means taking it and using it for outside interests to make money ain't no different. You know what I'm talking about? It ain't no different. There's no difference in that. You know what I'm talking about? The first people who's supposed to benefit from that money is saints. You know what I'm talking about? That's who's supposed to benefit. If it was money that the church was taking to flip in whatever manner they were looking to flip it, that stuff supposed to directly benefit every member of that assembly. You know what I'm talking about? Then it would help benefit other assemblies. Other members of the household of the faith. That's not what these niggas doing, man. And y'all know it too. They got a restock for you, sis. I would mention on that side. Come over here to 2 Corinthians 11. See, that was what they call in the television business a segue. 2 Corinthians 11 and 1, if you would.
Would to Elohim you could bear with me a little and folly, and indeed bear with me.
For I am jealous
over you with godly jealousy, for I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present a chaste virgin to Mashiach.
But I fear,
lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so
subtlety,
your mind,
man. You get subtlety from. That's two different words. You've been drinking? What's in that cup? What you put in that Celsius, man? You put some vodka in there? You ain't bring enough for everybody. This nigga here. Hold on. He said, I always question why it be 5 churches on one block. That they never have a barbecue with one another. That's an interesting question. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of different churches. You know, Jacksonville different. Because you see a lot of churches. I ain't gonna say different. You see a lot of churches, but you know, they be different denominations. Most of them small. They probably don't even know each other. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, you have a different structure here than what you would have had during the time of the apostles when assemblies were getting set up. All these believers were interconnected. It was never, see how it's set up here in America. If you're not apostolic, then you're not fooling with, you know, AME. And AME ain't fooling with Southern Baptists. You know what I'm talking about? And Southern Baptists ain't fooling with Pentecostal. When you look in the Acts of the Apostles specifically, all these assemblies that were being set up, they were all interconnected with one another because there was no such thing as a denomination. The only denomination you're supposed to know is bills. You know what I'm talking about? Hundreds, 50s, 20s, 10s, 5s, and 1s, my nigga. Ain't supposed to be no denomination in no church. Because at this point, when you have a denomination, guess what you've actually done? Oh, she said not all apostolic fellowship with each other, and then you got women's apostles. Look at, man, if I walked in a spot and there was a woman apostle, I'd turn around and walk out because I know God ain't here. And I know every nigga in there don't know no word. I know every person sitting up there I know the nigga who appointed her apostle don't know no word. I know if a nigga appoint you an apostle, you don't know no word, I'm gone. Because you can't even appoint. These niggas be having apostolic ceremonies, my nigga. Man, I'm gone, G. Y'all niggas will sit there. That's what you done did yesterday. You done divided the flock. You done did exactly. Read me 1 Corinthians 1 and 5. This is what you doing when you got denominations now.
That in everything you are enriched by him, in all utterance, all knowledge, even as the testimony of Mashiach was confirmed in you, so that you come behind no gift, waiting for the coming of our Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach.
Waiting for the coming of our Lord.
Who shall also confirm you unto the end, blameless in the day of our Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach, Elohim faithful, by whom you were called into the fellowship of his Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, our Lord. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach, that you all speak the same thing.
That you speak the same thing.
And there be no divisions among you.
No divisions among you. Paul told you in 1 Corinthians 12, it shouldn't be no schisms.
But you be perfectly joined together.
That you be perfectly joined together.
In the same mind and the same judgment.
In the same mind. Ain't that what we just read? Amen. Ain't that what we just read in Jeremiah 24? I give them one heart and one way. Read it for me. Jeremiah 24 and 7. From Jeremiah 24 and 7. I think it's Jeremiah 32. Don't make no difference.
And I will give them a heart to know me, that I, Yahuwah, they shall be my people. I will be their Elohim.
So I give them a heart to know me.
For they shall return unto me with their whole heart.
Remember what did David say when he came to the people? You were flesh of my flesh and bone of my bones. That take you back to the beginning. It was only one. And that's me. And I got to get him off of here. You know what I'm talking about? But listen, y'all don't know that's okay. You don't listen to Ghostface Killer. It's okay. So listen. Come on back where you was at. In 1 Corinthians chapter 1. And what verse you in? See, people don't like to have them type of conversations, man, but it's not supposed to be. At that point, you've cut Mashiach up and divided him. That's not how this game goes. And y'all sit there and listen to these people. And when I say listen to these people, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about bruise and all. Ain't supposed to be no we this and we that's asinine. It's retarded. It's stupid. That is a surefire sign that the likelihood that Yahuwah sent these people is very, very likely that he did not. That he did not. Because everyone would be interconnected. So if everybody's not interconnected, that is a surefire sign that God probably didn't send these people. Go ahead, man.
In verse 11.
1 Corinthians 1 and 11.
For it have been declared unto me of you, my brethren, by them, the house of Chloe, that there are contentions among you.
That there what?
Contentions among you.
Oh, y'all fighting.
Now this I say that every one of you say, I'm of Paul, and I of Apollos.
I'm of Paul, I'm of Apollos.
And I of Cephas, and I of Mashiach. Is Mashiach divided?
Is he divided? Notice you say what they saying, that's a denomination. Read that part again, man.
Now this I say that every one of you saith, I am of Paul, and I of Apollos, I of Cephas, and I of Mashiach. Is Mashiach divided?
Is this man divided?
Was Paul crucified for you?
Is any of these congregations, did anybody in there get crucified for you?
Or were you immersed in the name of Paul?
Did you get baptized in the name of any of these people?
I thank Elohim that I immersed none of you, but Crispus and Gaius, lest any should say that I had baptized in my own name. And I immersed also the household of Stephanus. Besides, I know not whether I immersed.
He said, I can't remember nobody else.
For Mashiach sent me not to immerse, but to preach the gospel.
You know how many people would be if somebody, I told you, nigga got to finish like sing with her. I said, man, he ain't sent me to sing. He sent me to preach, cuz. Nigga got mad at me. Now imagine if somebody told you, you just heard what Paul say, he ain't sent me to baptize, he sent me to preach. Stop trying to make me do something that ain't my job, nigga. You know, a lot of men don't understand that when it comes to the word. They think the pastor or the preacher is supposed to do everything. That's where you're wrong at. That's why we took the time to look at the 24 courses and the divisions of the priest. That's why we took the time to look at that so you could understand and know that it's not the pastor's job to fill every role. It's not. But you see how you learned that? You learned that because the book showed you that. Because Aaron didn't do every job. He didn't. Moses didn't do every job. Mashiach men to do jobs. And he did his job. He did when Mashiach was on the earth, guess what he didn't do? He ain't baptized nobody. Not anybody. Not with no water. He said, I asked him if we're all believers of salvation, why we have a Catholic Christian, an apostolic Christian, a Pentecostal Christian. Well, yeah. You know, I mean, because you asking something past the realms of their comprehension. So when they hear a question like that, they're gonna get defensive because they thinking you trying to attack them. You know what I'm saying? They really thinking you finna attack their denomination. You dig? They don't even realize that you really asking this question for them to consider. You ain't considered why we not one. Give me Deuteronomy 6 and 4. Listen what he say. We already read. He said he give you one heart to follow him, right? Listen what he said in Deuteronomy 6 and 4.
Hear, O Yasharal, Yahuwah or Elohim, one Yahuwah.
He's one what?
Yahuwah.
He's a God. Who say, do today say, every apostle got to raise the dead and heal the sick, or he not one. And that's a nigga who don't know no word. Because Moses ain't raised nobody from the dead. And Moses ain't healed no sick. He did signs and wonders, but he ain't do those. Go ahead.
And you shall love Yahuwah, your Elohim, with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words that command you this day shall be in your heart.
That's good. Now Ephesians 4 and 1. The light cast out dark. Oh, yeah. He talking about this. No doubt. You don't doubt. No, I'm just like to say, because she's not asking the wrong question. I'm just giving the perspective of I can understand why they react that way. You know what I'm saying? Because in their mind, they probably thinking that she attacking Catholicism or apostolic or Pentecostal, and she's not. You know what I'm talking about? But that's not how they gonna perceive it. Because you have to understand something, man. Human beings are creatures of habit, and when you come at them, they get defensive. Go ahead. They get defensive, man.
I, therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that you walk worthy of the vocation wherewith you are called, with all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love.
What you reading?
Ephesians 4.
Go ahead. That's right.
Said, forbearing one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Ruach and
keeping the unity of the what?
Of the Ruach.
Of the who?
Of the Ruach and the bond of Shalom.
Listen.
One body, one Ruach.
One body, one what?
Ruach, even as you are called, and one hope of your calling.
One hope of your calling.
One Lord, one faith, one immersion, one Elohim, and above all, who is above all, and through all, and in you all.
See, when you do that, you saying God separated. And God ain't separated. Elohim ain't separated. Yahuwah ain't separated. Yahusha's not separated. He's not. It's one body. It's one Elohim. It's one faith. It's one calling. And I'm only referencing this here so you can understand what we finna read in Corinthians, what I was mentioning. All these assemblies supposed to be interconnected. It doesn't necessarily mean that everybody knows each other. But those who were in charge of those, and more specifically, what you're going to see here is specifically with the Apostle Paul. These people know at least those who are running them. They know each other. See, you don't have that now because everybody wants to be self-contained. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, we don't want to. And the only reason why people want to be self-contained, because and I mean this, I don't mean this disrespectfully to none of y'all, but these pussy niggas be worrying about territory and members. You know what I'm talking about? That's what these whole niggas be worried about. They think it's somebody trying to come and step on their toes. Ain't nobody trying to get your goofy behind out of here, you insecure bastard. And this is how you know this is a surefire sign that God ain't sent them. Because anybody who Yahuwah's son don't care nothing about no members leaving. Because I'm going to push this word no matter who's here. It don't matter who's here. Then on top of that, this man already know that you're not my member. You're a member to Mashiach. So wherever you get the word, don't make me no never mind. See, these niggas get offended when you leave their congregation and go to somebody else's. Nigga get offended like you was his old lady or something. You left him for that's not your people. And that ain't your word. Look at man. We had some people back in the day, man, South Carolina, nigga was like, yeah, man, they going up there to Atlanta, the such and so. I'm like, nigga, I don't care. So that's supposed to make me feel some type of way? Supposed to make me stop doing what I'm doing? That ain't got nothing to do with me. Because I was doing it before I knew they were breathing. I was doing it when they were breathing in my face. And guess what? I'm going to do it after they slide. And then on top of that, man, the word is the word. That's what I meant about competition. It's not no competition. If you really care about the people, who cares where they're going to get it from? If you know his word, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? I don't care. That man say, my sheep hear my voice and they follow me. So the only thing I can tell you, brothers and sisters, to do is you better make sure you listening for the voice of the shepherd. And if you don't hear the voice of the shepherd, why is your black behind sitting there listening to this man? Period. I don't care if they black. I don't care if they telling you they is. I don't care what they talking about. If you don't hear the voice of the shepherd and you sitting there listening to him, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You stupid. You know what I'm talking about? Because you're not supposed to sit there and keep listening to that if you discern that righteousness is not with them. You're not supposed to be sitting. Look at, man, the book say, man, let me show you something. Hold on. Amen, Brother Herman. Hold on. So when I left, others that left before me had started their own ministry, tried to get. That be the wild stuff too. Niggas leave, then you want to go try to start a ministry yourself. What's that about? You didn't leave because you left because you wanted the attention you felt like the pastor was getting. That's why you left. You got to watch a nigga who leave a congregation and the first thing he want to do is start a. And when I say leave, meaning he got pressure with the people who he once had great respect and esteem for. Now you talking bad about him. That's a whole nigga right there. You know why? Because if God would have sent him to go do it, then guess what? The men who was over him, they would have known that, and they would have gave him the tools to succeed and always been accessible to him so he can succeed. If a man leave a ministry and talk bad about the ministry out the door and then go start his own, man, that's a sucker. Man, you can't respect nobody. Man, you got to watch a nigga who once esteemed somebody he got the word from, and then he talking bad about him after that. Man, that's a whole nigga. You can't be that lame to fall for that. How you esteem a nigga for 10 years and now he all this evil? Because you want to be a preacher. And if you want to be a preacher, that's fine. But there's, amen, Sister Kelly. It's a way to do that, though. It's a way to do that, though. And guess what we don't do, Civic? Keith Sweat told you, man, there's a right and a what? Wrong way to love somebody. You know what I'm talking about? And we do it the wrong way, you dig? We got to start doing that. Oh, let me find the word. I'm trying to remember where this at. I don't remember the verse off the top of my brain because we ain't read it in a long time. But come over here to Proverbs. I'm gonna find it in a minute. Maybe not. Yeah, you gotta realize, man, you gotta pay attention to that type of stuff, man. People don't be paying attention to that type of stuff, man. Because if you believe the man was of God and now all of a sudden he evil and he this, that, there, and the third, and you were sitting there getting word from him, get what that say about you? You know what I'm talking about? You ain't making him look bad. You're really making yourself look bad. It's just that most people not wise enough to be able to tell the difference. I can't remember, man, but the book tell you, man, depart from a fool once you see ain't no wisdom in his lips. You supposed to walk away. You ain't supposed to sit there and keep listening to it. One of the biggest things I done seen, man, with a lot of brews, man. Now, I understand that, but Brother Nathan, I prefer people to go a man better than me if it's for their soul. I'm looking at this here, right? Let me and make sure that I'm clear on what I'm trying to communicate. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong if you want to teach. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is you want to do it. You were a part of something from somebody who's instructing you. You begin to besmirch and try to clandestinely shoot arrows at the perfect, as Psalms put it. You know what I'm talking about? Not to necessarily say every person in that position is perfect, but you get I'm just using the word to communicate my point. To try to drag people off with you. Because if you would have done it properly, you just would have went to them and you would express that you had a desire to do that. Now, if this person would have came at you in a rough fashion, get your stick. No, you'll never be none of that. Okay, you need to slide. This nigga's a hoe. You know what I'm saying? But if he's serious with it, he gonna make sure that you understand what it is that you're desiring to do. Is this what you want to do? And if it's what you want to do, then they will begin the process of getting you prepared to do it. And they would already know that it doesn't matter if you minister in this assembly or if it's the Lord's will for you to go start another one, because they know they have no monopoly on the word nor monopoly on the body. And they would make sure that they would always assist you and be available to you so that you're successful in your labor. See, if an individual slides off and now it's like, I don't fool with them, these people wicked, now y'all don't fool with each other, son, then that milk ain't clean, because that's not how that's supposed to go. Because if he's truly an elder, bishop, or pastor, he wants to make sure that you can properly succeed. Because the most important thing is that souls get saved, you dig? And if that's not what's going on, and we know that in most Hebrew organizations and most churches, that's not what's going on, because men are feeling threatened. See, they feeling like what the scribes felt in John 11. We're going to lose our position in place. Indeed, it's a penis measuring contest. Absolutely, everybody trying to show who's better than who, and that's not how the game goes. Let me tell you something, and I just use him as an example because he's sitting right here. Civic going to preach don't take nothing from me. Don't take nothing from me. It add to the Lord though, because ain't you supposed to pray to the Lord of the harvest that He send laborers into His harvest? For the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. That means that you going to do that labor don't take nothing from me. Don't take nothing from me. But as she just mentioned, it's political, it's egotistical, it's envy, it's pride, it's jealousy, it's all type of stuff going on. You dig? Now, see, what I ain't gonna do, I ain't gonna co-sign you if I know you don't know what you're doing. I'll let you know, hey, boy. But at the end of the day, I ain't gonna stop you because it's not my job to stop you. And I ain't gonna have nothing to say about you. I told you years ago, nigga called me like this. I say, bro, y'all niggas slid, man. I ain't keeping up with what y'all doing. Niggas really thought I was keeping up with what they were doing. Bro, I'm not watching nothing y'all making. I'm not following what y'all doing. I'm not calling people asking what y'all doing because that ain't got nothing to do with me, baby. And I don't say that out of no arrogance or pride. That's not my business. Because if you wanted my opinion, guess what you would do? If you wanted my assistance, guess what you would do? You would hit me up and ask me for it. If not, it's not my job. Yeah, them niggas done left. Let me see what them niggas talking about. That's whole stuff. That's whole stuff. It's just, I don't see it no other way, man. That's some sucker stuff. That ain't got nothing to do with me, bro. I don't care what you doing. And I don't mean when I say I don't care, not in a lack of compassionate, unsympathetic, uncaring way. That's not my business. That's shoot. Ain't no borderline DAP shoot. That's what they doing, my G. Matter of fact, since DAP said that, Psalms 133 and 1. That's not my business, bro. And I wish more people who was in the word took that approach. Man, you ain't got to talk down on nobody because they left around you, bro. Now, if somebody left around because they stupid, then you might have to tell them, hey, bro, you stupid. Your actions and decisions are stupid. What's wrong with you? Why are you doing this? Help me understand so I can help you stop being stupid. You know what I'm saying? But man, I ain't got nothing. Man, look here, let me tell you something, man. I can only speak for me. I don't be sitting around thinking about people who come and go. And when I say thinking about it, meaning thinking about them in a negative fashion. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I mean by that. I'm not holding, harboring, or communicating any type of negativity about nobody. Because why? Let me tell you something real, man. I meant to mention this Wednesday, right? These niggas shot somebody's house up the other day. These niggas had a shootout over here the other day. And a doggone straight bullet hit that sliding glass door. And if I was to pick up this laptop and show you this doggone door, you'll see a big old bullet hole in the sliding glass door. And by the grace of the Lord, the only reason why that bullet ain't come in this house because that sliding glass door double pane. You know what I'm talking about? So it shattered the outside part of the glass door, but it did, and it bounced off. If that was a single pane doggone sliding glass door, you know what I'm saying? Who knows what can happen? By the grace of the Lord, you know what I'm saying? Boop and a churn, they wasn't in here, but somebody could have got hit. I wasn't here. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, cut the light on right there. I'm gonna show you. Y'all cut the light on over there with a ceiling fan at. I'm gonna show you. Cut that light on right there. Cut that light on right there. You cut that one on too. Yeah, it's right here now. I ain't just telling you that. Y'all can see it. I don't know if it's clear, but there go the bullet hole right there. Let me step it back. You can see it. You cut it off. Now, see, situations like that right there, man. Oh, for sure. Amen. Situations like that, man. You know what I'm talking about? Let's sit back and show you that, well, you can leave here at any time. You know what I'm talking about? Then, of course, yesterday, I'm in the van, doggone tire blow. But in reality, shoot, the tire could have came off because the wheel bearing was bad. And Shoot, nigga could have died. Nigga, I'm coming off the bridge. Nigga, I'm on the highway. Nigga, if you ain't expecting your tire to fall off and your tire fall off, nigga, you could die. You know what I'm talking about? So it just be showing you that certain thing, man. You could be in certain situations and circumstances. Lord, spare your life. Now, I mentioned all that to say, and I'm going to mention it because these things just happen. Knowing that, why would I be walking around here with some negative thoughts, comments, and concerns about somebody in the word if they struggling with whatever they're dealing with, whether they choose to go preach or what? Why would I do that? That don't sense. Because it's bigger fish to fry. You know what I'm talking about? Now, see, some of y'all done been over here. Now, see, Brother Martin, Brother Robert been over here. They not from the city. They'll come over here. They be like, oh, man, this is a nice neighborhood. I wouldn't think nothing like that happened. Nigga, we hear gunshots all the time around this hoe. Because we ain't that far from where these niggas act a fool. We ain't that far. You know what I'm talking about? But I say, man, by the grace of the Lord, man, if that wasn't no double pane screen door, man, you know what I'm talking about? Sliding glass door, that bullet was coming through. The bullet hit the glass door and landed over there. You know what I'm talking about? So that means when it hit that glass, boom, it bounced off. Man, if that would have been a regular anything else, that bullet coming through. And that man said that bullet came from about a mile away. You know what I'm saying? You never know where this man gonna be moving at. Make sure you straight how situations and circumstances you know what I'm saying, play out. You know what I'm talking about? So knowing that, I'm not finna be sitting around here talking down on no nigga. Cause he don't fellowship over here no more. But I know that people do that. And I ain't saying fellowship no more. Hey man, nigga might just be like, hey, I'm going through some things. I'm gonna stay to the house. Or nigga like, I'm gonna start my own thing. I know a lot of people come from organizations and people do that. Hold on, man, my dog. Hey man, just let y'all know, man, bro. Some of y'all ain't never met him, man. But Brother Barrett, man, send some prayers for his father, man. His father got some health issues going on. You know what I'm talking about? Just hitting up with that, man. But listen, it doesn't. And again, this is still dealing with how you ought to conduct yourself in the house of God. You don't got to do all that. You ain't got to do all that. Like I said, I can't speak for other people. I can only speak for myself. You know what I'm saying? I can only speak for myself. And I promise to you, in almost 12 years of doing this here, boy, I ain't got no negative thoughts or even said nothing about nobody who done slid. Man, that's niggas who done did some stuff directly to me. I done spoken on, yeah, these niggas kicking their game, did that there in the third, but nigga ain't no pressure. Nigga, life too short for all that. He said, I tell him, so I face death at least 7 times a day. I heard that, man. You know what I'm talking about? This for me is, I know a lot of people be in the word niggas be negative about people. And I know it causes people to be apprehensive because they assume that people are negatively discussing them. I can't speak for nobody else. I'm not, but because I'm going to tell you something real now. If I can say it to another nigga, I'll say it to your face. And the only reason I ain't said it to you because I ain't seen you yet. You know what I'm talking about? Because if I ain't going to say it to you, then I ain't going to say it at all. And it don't matter to nobody else. Shoot, I'm not going to say it out loud if I ain't going to say it to you. Because what's the point? What's the point of communicating something if you ain't going to tell it to the person who needs the communication? But I will tell you this here. We ain't never put nobody. I'm going to tell you something real, man. In this particular congregation, I can't speak for nobody else's. I ain't going to never put nobody out unless you do something extremely egregious where I have no choice. You're going to put yourself out. You know what I'm talking about? And you know how you're going to put yourself out? Because you already know the standard. And that means that you just don't want to meet the standard. And in your inability and pride to not want to meet the standard, you just not going to come. That's it. I ain't got to put you out nowhere. Now, like what we read with Paul, we're talking about now, if you want some old freaky deaky nasty stuff, yeah, you got to get, hey, no, we can't fool with you. This nigga's nasty. You know what I'm talking about? Outside of that, ain't none of y'all living like that no way. You know what I'm talking about? So, at least I hope not. I don't know what none of y'all doing. You know what I'm saying? Civic might be out here be eating buffalo butt for all I know. So you don't like buffalo roast? He don't know what he missing. Bring him some. That boy,
It might be delicious.
shoot, bison be hit. I ain't never had no bison roast. I had rump roast. Come on, where we at with it? Say what's up, Ball Mall. You look a little confused. Where we at with it?
The Psalms 133 and 1.
Right, run that Psalms 133 and 1. That's off what Dab just said, and this is a true story.
It said, behold, how good and how pleasant for brethren to dwell together in unity.
How good and how pleasant for brethren to do what?
Dwell in unity.
To dwell in unity.
Like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard.
He said, like the what?
Precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard. Aaron's beard that went down to the skirts of his garments. As the dew of Hermon that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there Yahuwah commanded the blessing, life forevermore.
Listen, that man say, brethren dwelling in unity is akin to the ointment going down Aaron's beard. No, he say, brethren dwelling in unity is equal to the Ruach HaKodesh, truth be told. That's why we ain't supposed to be no separation like that. You know what I'm talking about? They ain't how it's supposed to go. They ain't how it's supposed to go. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't never got none from Ted's. We used to just buy the ground bison from Publix, man, and whip them up at the house. We're gonna have to see what Ted talking about. The boy bison burgers is outstanding. Huh? Man, I don't go. Man, most of the restaurants I've been to, if you wasn't in here, I wouldn't have went. Not on my own. Shoot, I eat the same thing every day. I ain't got no problem with it. Ain't that right, son? You eat the same thing every day. Every day. Every day. Come on, 2 Corinthians 11. Where you start that, man? Read me verse 3 one more time. That boy said, shown this, boy. That boy went back to an ancient time. That's what I'm most talking about. He talking about Ryan Steakhouse Hot. So.
But I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve, even through subtlety, so your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Mashiach.
Don't let your minds be corrupted by the simplicity that's in the Lord.
For if he that come preach another Yahusha whom we have not preached, if you receive another Ruach which you have not received, or another gospel which you have not accepted, you might well bear with.
Now I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Yeah, he be chilling. He definitely be chilling, Christian. He be chilling. Now I'm gonna ask y'all a question. What does he mean by preach another Yahusha, preach another Jesus? Do you? He said that's for cousin first. They still around in South Carolina. My God, today, Sean is still out here kicking, son. What does he mean? You know, you got niggas out here telling you that mean when they teaching you Jesus Christ, just walk away. He don't know no book. Tell them what preach another mean. They don't know no book. Shoot, you could tell them Jesus too.
Preaches Caruso to be a herald, to officiate as a herald, to publish, to proclaim openly something which has been done.
Proclaim openly something that was to been done. He said, I remember the one they had on Duns. That nigga, that crazy. That nigga say with the S.
Another is a lo, so that's another.
So this person is declaring another. And what they got for Jesus? Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Jesus. That's Yahusha.
So what does this mean by declaring another Yahusha? What does this mean? Who could tell me what this means? What's causing all this? It's not that difficult either. You ain't got to overthink it. Verse 3 give you some insight if you slow your mind down. Jamal. You getting some hair up there, Ball Mall. Your hair brown, Ball Mall. expecting some other Messiah to need to come down and save us. That ain't a bad thought process. Ball mall. Ball mall. Ball mall. Anybody else? Read verse 3, sis.
So, but I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Mashiach.
He was giving you an inkling to let you know that Satan came and preached another Jesus, if you would. It's the same thing like what Paul said. If anybody, read it for me. Galatians chapter 1. Give me verse 11, I believe. You want that? You want that, son?
But I certify you, brethren, that the gospel which was preached of me is not after man. For I neither received it of man, neither was I taught, but by the revelation of Yahushua HaMashiach.
Come on.
You have heard of my conversation in the time past in the Yahudim's religion, how that beyond measure I persecuted the assembly of Elohim and wasted it, and profited in the Yahudim's religion above many my equals in my own nation, being more exceedingly zealous of the traditions of my fathers. But when it pleased Elohim, who separated me from my mother's womb, and called by his mercy to reveal his son in me, that I might preach him among the heathen, immediately I conferred not with flesh and blood.
I conferred not with flesh and blood.
Neither went I up to Jerusalem to them which were apostles before me.
I sent you too far. Give me verse 7. Galatians 1 and 7.
He said, which is not another, but there be some that trouble you, and will pervert the gospel of Mashiach.
And will pervert the gospel of Mashiach.
But though we or Malachim Shamahim preach any other gospel unto you, then that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed.
Let him be accursed. So you see what he mean when he say preach another? If somebody, matter of fact, give me the epistle, second epistle of John. I mentioned it earlier. Pick it up at verse 3. Listen what he say. What you do with that?
Grace be with you, mercy and shalom from Elohim the Abba, and from the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, the Son of the Abba, in truth and love. I rejoice greatly that I found of your children walking in truth, as we have received the commandment from the Abba. Now I beseech you, lady, not as though I wrote a new commandment unto you, but that which we had from the beginning, that we love one another.
That's your what?
Love one another.
What else?
And this is love, that we walk after his commandments.
What else?
This is the commandment, that as you have heard from the beginning, you should walk in it.
You should walk in it.
For many deceivers are entered into the
Meaning
world.
what?
Deceivers are entered into the world.
And what else they doing?
Who confess not that Yahushua Mashiach is come in the flesh. This is a deceiver and an antichrist.
He said, boy, if they confess that the Lord ain't come in the flesh, that man telling you lies. Go ahead.
Look to yourselves that we lose not those things which we have brought, but that we receive a full reward.
Listen what the apostle finna tell you.
Whosoever transgress and abide not in the doctrine of Mashiach, have not Elohim. He that abide in the doctrine of Mashiach, he have both the Abba and the Son.
Go ahead.
If there come any unto you and bring not this doctrine.
If there come any unto you that bring not this what?
This doctrine.
He said, don't do what?
Receive him not into your house.
He said, don't even let him come in your house.
Neither bid him Elohim speed.
Don't even bid him Godspeed.
For he that bid him Godspeed is partaker of his evil.
Tell him what Godspeed means. Speaking after another Savior relative to the Stephen. Yeah, you're trying to go up some other way. But more than anything, it's not, because you know a lot of bruisers tell you preaching another Jesus is saying Jesus instead of saying Yahushua. That's not what he means. He talking about somebody bringing you a doctrine outside of the doctrine that the Lord brought. You know what I'm talking about? Giving you a teaching outside of what come from heaven. Don't fool with them, is what he's telling you. It ain't got nothing to do with all that goofy stuff that these people be telling you, man. You know what I'm talking about? Don't got nothing to do with none of that. I'm going to show it to you out the law in 2 places, and then we'll proceed. Deuteronomy 13:1. Listen what he said.
Godspeed is Cairo. That's to rejoice, to be glad, to rejoice exceedingly, in salutations at the beginning of letters, to give one greeting, to salute.
He said, don't salute nobody who don't bring this doctrine. He said, if they telling you that Mashiach, if Yahushua, the son of the living Elohim, all praise be to Allah who dwell on high. If this person is telling you he ain't come in the flesh and is bringing something different than what that man taught, he said, you're not even supposed to salute them. You're not supposed to greet them. You're not supposed to rejoice at them. What are you rejoicing for? This man telling lies. But guess what most Israelites are taught to do? Rejoice and salute them no matter what they saying. Because we got to stick together as a people. I'm going to tell you something. Israelites around here talking about you don't need no identity politics with Kamala Harris, but you do it every day with the word, though. You hypocrite. You hypocrite. You do it every day with the word, though. You identify with people just because they identify being an Israelite. No matter if they teaching wicked, no matter if they wicked, it don't even matter. That ain't right before God. That's a disgrace and abomination before God. Peace, Bazooka, man. You say that saying you got to keep laws and commandments. Yeah, and people, and I'm gonna be honest with you, they teach you that you got to keep laws and commandments to receive salvation because that's how they were taught. When you turn around and you look at the doctrine of faith in Mashiach and that being a justifier, most brews don't know how to teach that. Most brews think that that's Christian teaching. So when they hear that, they thinking you telling people not to keep the law, but y'all know how I see that. That's somebody who already wasn't keeping the law. I don't even know how somebody get faith and law breaking in the same breath. But nobody can read you, nobody in this book who got salvation from Yahuwah because they kept the law. You can't find it. You can find plenty of people who were justified by faith with Yahuwah. And guess what? Every individual who was justified by faith with Yahuwah, they all had one thing in common. They obeyed it. But see, dudes focus on the commandments more because the commandments are easier than the trust in the Elohim who hide himself. Elohim whom you can't see. That's why he say, blessed is the man who trusts in Yahuwah, whose hope Yahuwah is. That's why he say, when the heat come, you won't feel no anxiety and you'll never stop from yielding fruit. See, they don't want to have them conversations because God ain't sent these niggas. And y'all sit there and listen to these niggas because they tell you an Israelite and you want to say we a nation and you want to identify, but got a problem with all these black folks that want to vote for Kamala because they think she black. Look how the Lord just show you you's a wicked hypocrite in your face every day. Every day. And I'm not saying that as an endorsement of Kamala Harris because I don't give a damn what her, Sleepy Joe, you know what I'm talking about, Orange Face Donald, I don't care what they do. She said they were taught to be polite. I don't care what they do. You know why? Because this ain't my country. And this ain't my home. And this ain't my system. And this is a system created for, ran for, and updated by sinners. So this ain't got nothing to do with me. Because if you confess to be a stranger and a pilgrim upon the earth, that means you desire a continuing city. A city whose builder and maker is of Elohim. So I have no cares or concerns about what these people got going on. Why I care about what sinners do. You think your forefathers was sitting around there wondering who was going to take over for Pharaoh? That's right. I know that's right, Bazooka. Amen on that. Bazooka said, if you're not in the Messiah, you're not my brother, black or not. I stand for righteousness. And he just pretty much said what I told you. I am not pro-black. I'm pro-Yahuwah. You be pro-black, that's how you get in stuff. You identify based off nationality, ethnicity. I identify with godliness. Take it how you want to take it. Ain't that right, son? That's right. Go ahead.
If there, Deuteronomy 13:1.
Go ahead.
If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams and give you a sign or a wonder,
Brother Herman,
and a sign or a wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto you, saying, let us go after other gods which you have not known, and let us serve them. You should not hearken unto the words of that prophet. You shouldn't listen. Or that dreamer of dreams, for Yahuwah your Elohim prove you to know whether you love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul.
That's right. That man said, I don't care when them people bring the past. You better do what I told you. He said, whether they bring another doctrine, another sign, it don't matter. Don't fool with them. That's what your law teach you to do. You see how he telling you to end from the beginning? He ain't telling you that. Now go to Genesis 3:1. But guess what? What you think the beast coming to do? He coming the same thing. The book say the beast got understanding of dark sentences. He gonna be preaching another Yahusha to you. He gonna be bringing another doctrine, just like the serpent in the garden. Genesis 3:1. Don't listen to it.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahuwah Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, have Elohim said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? The woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim hath said, you shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said unto the woman, You shall not surely die. For Elohim do know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened. You shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
He brought another Yahusha just in. He brought another doctrine just in. He brought another doctrine just in. Come on back to 2 Corinthians 11 and 4. That's all that means. It ain't talking about you coming and using the name Jesus Christ and all this other stupid stuff these dudes be talking about. This is talking about the teaching. Hey. He not bothering you.
Mommy. It's mommy.
How about you leave your mommy alone?
Mommy.
Jamal. Go ahead. 2 Corinthians 11. Hold on. Yeah, indeed. Indeed, brother. You ready to go back with your mom? Because you're grabbing stuff. You're being grabby. You're being grabby. Go ahead. 2 Corinthians 11.
For if he that come preach another Yahusha, whom we have not preached, or receive another Ruach, which we have not received, or another gospel, which we have not accepted.
Notice how he went to all three of them. A different spirit, a different tidings, a different Lord. Don't fool with it.
Which you have not accepted, you might well bear with. For I suppose I was not a whit behind the very chief apostles.
He said, though I be what?
Rude in speech.
See, this is where Bruce come in and think this means that you could talk rough. That's not what that means. Tell them what that Greek word rude means. Man, that's not what that means. How you rude in speech? If you rude in speech, that means you disrespectful.
That's idiotes, a private person as opposed to a magistrate, ruler, or king, a common soldier as opposed to a military officer, a writer of prose as opposed to a poet, an unlearned, illiterate man as opposed
He's saying
to
that even though I be rude and even though if I was illiterate and unlearned in what I'm saying, that's what he's telling you. That's what he's telling you. Because he said, if I'm not of the chiefest apostles, then I guess I'm unlearned then. Go ahead, man. Verse 6, 2 Corinthians 11.
But though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge.
He said, okay, if I'm unlearned in speech, I bet I ain't in the word, though. Go ahead.
But we have been thoroughly made manifest among you in all things.
I have committed
an offense of abasing myself that you might be exalted, because I have preached to you the gospel of Elohim freely.
Muffin, come here.
I robbed other assemblies, taking wages to do you service.
Pause. That's what we came here for. How many of y'all have heard? Give me something to wipe this up. How many of y'all have heard the term rob Peter to pay Paul? How many of y'all heard this term? Where do you think that term come from? Well, clearly you know where it comes from because we just read it. Ball Maul trying to end it all. Go find your mom. You know what to do. Leave him alone. Say a million times. Since Regina said I have. Now listen to what he said. Well, 2 Corinthians 11 is where that statement comes from. Now read verse 7 again. He said, just roll off people's tongues, don't it though?
Have I committed an offense in abasing myself that you might be exalted, because I have preached to you the gospel of Elohim freely?
He said, I preached it what?
Freely.
Freely. Tell him what freely means. We talked about that recently in regards to the difference between 1 Corinthians 9 and 1 Timothy. Oh, say you ain't never considered the biblical meaning?
The rayon, that's freely, undeservedly.
Freely.
For nothing, in vain.
For nothing.
Without a cause. Remember
what he said in 1 Corinthians 9? He said, I have power to forbear working. He said, but I don't. He said, I don't exercise that power, that I might preach the gospel of Mashiach to you freely. And that's what he said. Remember, we talked about that. There's a difference between the saying what Moses and Samuel said that. But Paul in the same breath told you to pay the pastor. Now continue. What is the next thing he said?
I robbed other assemblies, taking wages to do you service.
Tell them what rob mean. Tell them what wages mean. Tell them what service mean. First one is rob.
Suleo, that's to rob, to despoil.
So what is he thinking? Right? You think he literally put a mask on, put a shiesty on, and up the fire on him?
Wages is opsoneon, a soldier's pay, allowance.
A soldier's pay, wages.
Hire or pay of sin.
Hire. He said, I took hire from other what? To do you service. Go ahead.
And when I was present with you.
Oh, tell him what service means. Skip that.
Diakonia, that's service, ministering.
So he took wages from other assemblies to minister unto you. Listen to what verse 9 say. And when I was present with you.
And wanted.
I was what?
Chargeable to no man.
What is telling what chargeable mean? Obviously, you know what it means. We just want you to hear the Greek word for it.
Katanarcho, that's to cause or grow numb or torpid. To weigh heavily upon, to be burdensome to.
He wasn't burdensome. Hold on. Brother Herman asked about the word freely in Genesis chapter 2. Tell him what freely mean in Genesis 2 and 16. I think it's going to be a tad bit different definition, you dig?
That's a call to eat, to devour, burn up.
It just means to eat. Freely ain't even there. It's just a call, which means to eat. So they put freely there, but eat freely probably was just one word. So come on back, right? He said he wasn't burdensome to no man. He said for that, 2 Corinthians 11:9, for that.
When I was present with you and wanted, I was chargeable to no man for that which was lacking to me, the
brethren,
which came from Macedonia supplied.
And in all,
I have kept myself from being burdensome unto you.
So I will
keep, as the truth of Mashiach
so
is in
pause. Me. Listen what he's telling you. He's telling these men, I didn't want to be a burden to these men. Again, that's different when you're dealing with an apostle. You know what I'm talking about? We talked about this a couple weeks ago. An apostle is not seeking to be burdensome to the people. Though it said the men in Macedonia supplied what he needed because the man was in need. You know what I'm talking about? But listen to what he said, right? What does he mean by robbing other churches? Now you have to look at this fundamentally law-wise, and this is some of the stuff we're looking at. And with Kings 12 and Ezra, there's money that's get brought in, but it was only one tabernacle where this was kept at. You understand? See, we could read in Acts, I think 7, you know what I'm saying? When Peter was like, hey man, the daily ministration to the people in Jerusalem. It's another spot in Acts. Hold on. He said they dates back to back at least. Yeah, definitely. Hold on. It's something in Acts I want. Come over here to let me see what it is. I think it's chapter 8, maybe. Could be something else. Well, they finna go back to Jerusalem to break bread with the people because it's the same system, but it's set up a tad bit differently than what it was in the beginning, yet the same at the same time. Ain't that something? Let me find what I want. Man, that junk ringing in my head, but that's because that junk dealing with Paul sliding through, breaking bread with the Pope. But man, we ain't got all night for me to recall that to mind. But basically, man, if one of y'all find it, we look at it because it's not coming to my brain. But Paul sent back to Jerusalem because he said they had money that they had to take to dispense to the poor. You know what I'm talking about? This is something that they did, and this is stuff and it was collections from different assemblies being brought back to Jerusalem. You know what I'm talking about? You have to remember in times past, of course, there were Levites in every province or every territory in Yasharal. But the collection of funds for the most part was always kept in Jerusalem. You know what I'm talking about? And of course, there was a dispensing because you remember what your law said. There was supposed to be a dispensing for who? The Levite, the poor, the widow, the orphan, and the stranger. That concept doesn't stop in the new covenant. See, this is one of the things that I hate that I hear people say. Well, if it ain't in the new covenant, it ain't. If Jesus didn't say it, if the apostles didn't talk about it, he didn't. So it's not. See, that's a dummy, because it's all the same word. Do you? And I say this respectfully. These men didn't have to enumerate. No, it's not in Galatians. They didn't. It's in Acts. What I'm talking about. It might be something similar in Galatians, but I'm thinking about something in Acts. You can have something going on, right? Like they'll say, like Jesus never said nothing about homosexuality. Why would he have to? Then people already knew that was an abomination. So people forget his audience when he was here on the earth. He didn't have to go around to them talking about those things. Matter of fact, the reason why you don't even hear them going intricately in the law as far as the apostles is concerned, because outside of the Gentiles, them people knew all of that already. You know what I'm talking about? They had one mission, and that was to preach the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach, the gospel of Yahushua HaMashiach from Genesis to Malachi. That is a different administration. You understand? That's a different administration. I don't know. Let me look and see. No, that ain't it. That ain't it. I think it's before that. Yeah, this is when they sitting down and he finna slide on the boat. That's not the one I'm looking for. Lord willing, we'll figure it out. But nevertheless, this is a little different. I can't recall. It's been a long time since I read it, and my mind sees it in the Bible that y'all ain't never seen. That big old family Bible. You know what I'm talking about? My mind see it in that book. I can't. My mind don't see it in this book. He said, in my mind, when Yahushua quotes Adam and a man cleaving to his wife, that's edited. Indeed, it is. He did. You know what I'm saying? But this is the thing. Remember, he taught his apostles the whole book was about him. What do you think? He did not send his apostles to teach the law. That's not what they were teaching. Did they teach the law? Of course they did. That's common sense. You can't teach the gospel and not teach the law. Those two things go together. How you going to tell the end from the beginning and not teach the law and doing that, but you're not teaching the law in regards to keeping commandments because the people already know they're supposed to keep them. You're teaching it in regards to manifest his testimony. Shalom, Brother Ernest. You understand? Because Paul said, keep the ordinances as I've delivered them unto you. So we know that they taught them. That's common sense. But that wasn't the first thing they preached. They weren't running up on people talking about, you know, you an Israelite, brother. They weren't doing that. You need to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. They weren't doing that. He said the law and the prophets were until John. Now the kingdom of heaven is preached. All men are pressed into it. So they were preaching something different that had never been preached before. And that's the witness of the Son of God. That was primary. It's not that the law wasn't taught. It's not that the law was inconsequential. It wasn't the primary message. You know what I'm talking about? Why? Because it's the Ruach that make alive. And the words that I speak unto you are Ruach and they are life. So we need to preach the word of faith that your sins might be remitted and that you might receive the gift of life through the Ruach qadash and walk with your maker. You can't do that with the law because there's no life in it. I know a lot of brews don't want to hear that. But all you got to do is search the text and show me where somebody got life from the law. You can't find it because it ain't there. You know what I'm talking about? It's not there. You're not going to find it. Because you was already alive if you kept the law. But if you break it, you die. And there's no reviving from the law. The reviving got to come from who? My God, today. The reviving got to come from Yahuwah himself. And the only way you can get that reviving is if you what? Believe on Yahuwah. You can't Israelite your way to the Ruach HaKadosh. You can't law your way to it. You got to believe like Abraham. And that's why a lot of brews going to hell. See, we're talking about the brother, and I don't mean no disrespect. I think his name Yasharalim. I don't know the brother's work. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about him other than other brews posting about him. I'm not mentioning him out of no slander or disrespect because I don't know the man or nothing he taught. But from what I could ascertain, a lot of brews was like he was their first teacher on the internet, if you will. You know what I'm talking about? And then he slid out. He disappeared for a minute. And then he came back on some aquaponics. And he don't fool with the word no more. And the first thing that individuals stated was, oh, they must have got to him. And I told the nigga actually blocked me. It was hilarious to me. You know what I'm talking about? Man, ain't nobody got to this nigga. And I told y'all this last week, and I'm reiterating it for a reason. It's a lot of men who open up this Bible all across the world and don't believe nothing they saying. You know what I'm talking about? And they'll sit there and teach you every week. You know what I'm talking about? They'll sit there and sing with you, do a whole bunch of stuff with you, and don't believe nothing they teaching. And one thing for certain and two things for sure, time always exposes it. Because you can only pretend for so long. You know what I'm talking about? As Jay-Z put it on the Nas, it's only so long that fake thugs can pretend. You can only pretend to be something for so. You want to know the first evidence of somebody pretending? They holding on to their nationality. That we Israelites. That's somebody he don't believe for real. Just being honest with you. If that's their number one lead in, if that's the number one focus of conversation, he don't believe the word for real. And I'll tell any of them niggas that to their face. You don't believe the word for real. Because that's what you lead with. That's what you always talk about. You find a way to bring the conversation to that. You don't believe for real. You don't believe in Yahuwah for real. You may believe in your flesh, but you don't believe in Yahuwah for real. I see through you, my G. The only difference is I ain't got to say nothing. I just know you a fraud. That's it. Matter of fact, I ain't get to hear because I was moving around. Bazooka and Derek then were having a conversation with a dude. They said they were talking about the consequences of sin, and he made it be about Gentiles and Israelites. That nigga don't believe. Who was talking about that? Why you brought that up? Why you mentioned that? You got to pay attention to that. Nigga always only want to talk about the same thing every day. Like I'm talking about the same topic that's not really beneficial or fruitful to nobody as far as eternal life is concerned. They don't believe for real. You know what I'm talking about? They don't believe for real. You hear somebody talking about you got to keep these laws, they got to keep these laws. That's their only conversation. I ain't talking about telling people, hey man, you know, we ain't got it. You gonna put the sin, did that there in the third. He don't believe for real. It's very few people who deal with this word that really believe for real. See, bro mentioned that right. He said he stand for righteousness. When you stand for righteousness, that means you stand for Yahuwah. You can only stand for Yahuwah because you trust in him, because you believe in him, because you hope in him, because you seek after him, because you delight in him. That's the only way you could do that. If none of these things are a part of your makeup, you don't really believe for real. What does that mean? Matthew 13 and verse 22. Run that for me. This is what it means when you don't believe for real.
He also that receives seed among the thorns is he that hear the word and the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the
back
word.
Up to 21. 21, what we want. 21. That's your rapper right there, ain't it? That's what Boot like to listen to in the car.
Yet have he no root in himself, but endure for a while, for when tribulation or persecution
back it up
arise.
to 20 then. You might as well make it 17 at this point.
For truly I say unto you that many prophets and righteous have desired to see what you see and have not seen,
and they ain't seen it.
What you hear and have not heard.
They ain't heard it.
Hear you therefore the parable of the sower.
What he said.
When anyone that hear the word of the Malkuth and understand not, then come the wicked and catch away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which receives seed by the wayside. But he that receives seed into stony places,
in the stony places,
the same as he that hear the word and anon with joy receive it.
He received it with joy at the onset.
Yet have he not root in himself.
He ain't got no root in himself, and you got to take root downward to bear fruit upward, so he can't bring forth no fruit. The Lord finna tell you.
But endure for a while, for when tribulation and persecution arise,
when tribulation and persecution arise because of the word, by and by,
he is offended.
He don't want to fool with it no more. He don't want to fool with it no more. See, a lot of people, man, again, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. You know this, man. He say, you know, in the world you'll have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I've overcome the world. This man never promised you that coming to serve him, that your life will be delightful, pleasant, and pleasing as you would want it to be. He never told you that. He never promised you that. He never insinuated that. He never told you you would be rich. He never told you that you would accomplish all your goals and dreams. That man never told you any of that. But you know what he told you? He said, seek my face, and in the book say your face I see. That's what he told you. He said, repent and believe the gospel. That's what he told you. All that other stuff, that's you. Oh, what's an example of being offended of the word? I don't want to fool with it. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? What Ahab did to Micaiah, he was offended of the word. Locking him up when he gave a prophecy he didn't want to hear. You know what I'm talking about? But it's more so, tell him what offended being in that verse. It's more so, you angry. You're upset. This is an offense to me. I find this abominable and detestable. You did? Come on.
Offended is scandalizo. That's to put a stumbling block.
You're scandalous, nigga. Scandalizo.
In the way by which another may trip and fall, to offend, to entice to sin.
It's a stumbling block. You're going to be enticed to sin.
To cause a person to begin to distrust and desert one whom he ought to trust and obey.
It caused you to leave.
That's what it said. To cause to fall away.
You become an apostate, if you will. You walk away from the word. You know what I'm saying? You go to don't trust him, man. Let me tell you something, man. Satan moves day in and day out to get you not to trust him, man. That's all he did with Eve, caused her to doubt. Man, look at him, man. Satan just wants you to doubt. Because anything that's not of faith is sin. So he wants you to doubt. Absolutely, Joseph. Absolutely. See, he just wants you to doubt. You know what I'm saying? Because then when you go to doubting, you're going to stop serving. Because once you go to doubting, then you don't take pleasure in him no more. And when you don't take pleasure in him no more, you ain't going to seek him no more. And when you don't seek him no more, you're going to go out like a hoe. Because, boy, you finna be out here spread like mustard. You did? That's all that's going to happen. That's all that's going to happen. But when he talk about robbing other churches to do you service, which was the original point, it's taking resources from one assembly to take it to another to benefit those who are in need. Not robbing them so that he could keep the money for himself. See, one thing, man, that done came in this word, man, that's the ugliest part with this word, and people done turned it into a business. Read me 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 1. People done turned this into a business. This is not a business. And I hate that it done went down like that, because it's disheartening, it's discouraging, and it causes a lot of people to not want to be fooled up with the word, because these sucker niggas is not sent by God, so therefore they're not operating like the man told you to operate. We ain't even got to the crux of number 5 now time this evening, but it worked out though. Let you who it be a thing. Come on.
So, but there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you.
Listen, there's false prophets among the who?
Among the people.
As if there'll be false teachers among who?
You.
You can't stop it. You know what I'm saying? And I know I tell y'all that a lot, but you need to keep that. You can't stop that. You just need to be cognizantly aware when they're present, because you can't stop it. Go ahead.
Who privily shall bring in damnable heresies.
They're going to bring in bad teachings.
Even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction.
They're going to go to hell.
And many shall follow their pernicious
and
ways.
Many people going to follow them, and you can't stop them. Tell them what pernicious mean. That they definitely have perverted out. They definitely done that, brother. They definitely done that.
Pernicious ways. Apolio, that's destroying, utter destruction of vessels, a perishing ruin.
They're going to take you to hell with them. You can't stop that. You can't make straight what Elohim has made crooked. You can't. That's what. Let me tell you. And I'm only saying this for one reason. You can preach against whatever is wrong that people preaching. That's what you want to do. Who am I to tell you what to do? You grown, but I'll tell you this here. If you spend more time trying to point out and destroy false teachings, you're neglecting the people who desire the word that they might be saved. So what's more important? See, this is the way that a lot of us get taught and our mindset get to going. You thinking destroying the false doctrine is more beneficial to the people than just preaching the gospel to the people and letting the people hear the shepherd's voice so they can follow him. Because Yahushua didn't walk around trying to destroy this Pharisees' doctrine. I tell y'all this all the time. He ain't destroy their doctrine till they step to him talking stupid. Y'all be stepping to people with false doctrine. You ain't never asked yourself, ain't nobody stepping to you about what you talking about. They never, man, Yahushua never stepped to the men about what he would teach. They always stepped to him trying to prove him wrong, trying to get him caught up. That means you operating out of bounds if you always stepping to them and they not stepping to you. See, I'm not talking about, say, on an app like Clubhouse, you know what I'm talking about, where it's just a bunch of people having a discourse. Because them people did that, but they did that in synagogues. They did that in the marketplaces. They did that in their homes. You know what I'm talking about? They did that in the schools. You can read that in Acts 19 if you want. You know what I'm talking about? This is where they did that at. But when you look at Mashiach's ministry, at least what's testified of, because we need to keep in mind, everything this man did is not testified of. So what you see that is testified of, he never stepped to them dudes. They always stepped to him because they know his dope was good. And they were trying to prove to the people, you don't want a cop from him. His work bad. And he shamed them every time. You should not be stepping to false prophets who ain't stepped to you. You know what I'm talking about? Because at that point, you're not doing that for the Lord's sake, nor for the people. You're doing that for you. You know what I'm talking about? You're doing that for you. Because guess what? All them people who follow in his pernicious ways, they're going to be following them after you leave. Because you think that display is what's going to draw the people away from him. Nah, they just going to dig their feet in harder and stay there. But if you had wisdom, you would know that. You know what I'm talking about? Did you see Elijah going around there trying to do this? He said, hey, man, you do what you do, I'm going to do what I do and let the people choose. That's gangster right there. That's confidence in your work. Shalom, Brother Mark. That's confidence in your work, man. I ain't got to talk about what you got going on. I can mock what you got going on because he mocked them now. I ain't got to talk about what you got going on because I know my work good. I ain't do that. If your work good, I don't care what you talking about. I genuinely don't. Say none of the prophets spent time to disprove false prophets. It's very evident. Just say that which provides the salvation in the gospel. Indeed. Like the tree planted by the water. Indeed, Brother Herm. Listen, man, I'm trying to tell you something. Man, I'm trying to tell you this for your own sanity. You know what I'm talking about? You drive yourself crazy running up on these dudes like that, man. You know what I'm talking about? Because you're trying to stop something that cannot be stopped. It can't. Good brother, I know. He said, man, we should come up with a council. And I said, man, you could come up with 1,000 councils, man. You'll never stop bad teaching. You'll never stop it. Bad teaching been going on since the garden. So if it happened in the Garden of Eden, you think you finna stop it in your city? I need to find your weed, man, because you smoking good. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, praise you, Brother Joe. You smoking good, my G. You can't stop that. You can't stop that. Focus on what you got. Look here, man. At the end of the day, everybody ain't going to choose good quality product. You have to know that. Everybody not going to choose quality. Everybody don't like quality. Some niggas cheap. See, I would always tell you, you buy cheap clothes, that's your business. But one thing you should never buy cheap. You know what that is, gentlemen? That's a suit. Never buy a cheap suit. You know what I'm talking about? Never. Absolutely not. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's a waste of money. You know what I'm saying? You can buy cheap a lot of things, man. Never buy a cheap suit. And bare minimum, if you buy a suit off the rack, go get it tailored. Because you're going to look stupid in it. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down, though. You're going to look stupid in it. You never do that. Man, anything in life, man, that you do, you should, if you're going to buy something, you should buy the highest quality that your money allows. Notice what I said, what your money allows. Whatever station you at in life, you should buy the best quality that you're able to afford. Never buy low quality. I ain't going to say that cheap cologne, because what some people call cheap cologne, shoot, boy, I got a couple bottles in there called $25 right now. Smell better than some stuff that niggas spend $100 on. And just because it's expensive don't mean it's quality. You know what I'm talking about? See, that's another way where people get got. Cost don't mean quality. You know what I'm talking about? Because, boy, it's some expensive colognes, boy, their quality is trash. You understand me? Trash. But, yeah, man, always go for quality. Why you think people like bad doctrine? Because they don't like quality. Why do you think dudes pick hoes and women pick bums? Because they don't like quality. Because you know what happens with quality? Quality challenges you. And not only that, with quality, you got to take care of it. You know what I'm talking about? Because if you don't take care of it, it ain't going to last that long. You know what I'm saying? You got to move with care. When you got something of some quality. See, when you got something that's cheap, you don't care what you do with it. Treat it any kind of way. Because you know what? I can just get another one. It ain't cost me nothing. You don't value it. You don't appreciate it. You don't regard it. You know what I'm talking about? That's why people can sit in these congregations. They don't care. It's cheap. It's no quality. I don't care. Buying low quality is like going full retard, man. Never go full retard. You know what I'm talking about? For real, man. And I say that because if you dealing with Yahusha for real, then you got quality. You know what I'm saying? So just put your quality out there and let the people choose. You ain't got a dirty Mac. You know what I'm saying? Show your value. Because if they can't see the value in it, it ain't for them. That's why he say many are called and few are chosen. Everybody not going to see the value in it. It ain't for them. See, people don't want to hear that. You know what he said in John? He said, man, my sheep hear my voice. He said, you hear not because you're not of my flock, as I told you. Amen, Sister Regina. You know what I'm talking about? So you got to understand that. Literally, man, you go read 1 Kings 18. He say, man, you do your thing. I'm going to do my thing. Why halt between two opinions? If Baal be God, serve him. If Yahuwah be God, serve him. He said, why are you differing between two opinions? He said, I'm going to put it in work. You're going to see who God. I ain't got to do all that. So I ain't got to do all that. I ain't got to do all that. And when you get to that point that you know that what you got is better than what he got, then you don't care what he's selling. You know what I'm talking about? Look at, man. He said, I don't even waste time telling people they Israelites anymore. I heard that. He said, I just encourage them to seek Yah, his truth, wisdom, and understanding. Amen. You know what I'm talking about? Listen, let me tell you something. When I used to sell crack, man, I didn't care what them niggas was selling. Because I knew what I was selling. You know what I'm talking about? And I knew I was going to sell all mine before I went home. You know what I'm saying? I ain't have to be like, yo, don't cop from me. I ain't got to do it. I already know what I got in my pocket, boy. I already know. I don't care. I'm going to sell all these before I go home. You know what I'm talking about? Because, boy, I was able to mentally forecast how many I needed every day. So on a good Wednesday, I knew I'm going to take 30 with me. Boy, I know I'm going to sell all 30. You know what I'm talking about? Friday night like this here, okay, I'll take me about 50 to 70. Because I ain't ever want to ride home with no work. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't want to come down there with 80 when I only needed 55. You know what I'm talking about? And I knew I'm going to sell all 55 because I know what I got. So when you know you got Yahushua HaMashiach, why you care about what he got? When you know what he got trash. I told y'all, man, that one time I debated a dude, bro, I didn't even listen to cuz. When it was his turn, bro, I was doing other stuff. Man, I was clicking off the other line, talking to the niggas who was reading for me. I wasn't listening to this man. I'm talking about you, who was my witness. I was not listening to this man. I ain't care what he had to say. And I actually said that on there. Not that I wasn't listening to him. I say, bro, I'm just preaching the word, bro. I don't care about what you talking about. I'm trying to save a soul. I ain't trying to win no debate. You know what I'm talking about? I'm only doing this for a favor for a friend. Bro, I don't care about that. You got to have that attitude. You got to have that attitude. If you know what you got, why you care? If you know he got bad doctrine, you think you're going to stop it by proving it wrong? That nigga still going to teach that when he walk away from you. So all you did was frustrate yourself, and you missed the opportunity to drop real word on somebody else because you was focused on the dummy instead of focused on the people. My God, today, the Lord didn't do that. If you're going to operate in the house of God, then operate in it. Ain't that right? He said he that's wise, do what, Sibby? You ain't winning no soul arguing with no fool. Come on with us, good sir. Where you at with it? My bad.
Peter 2:2.
Yeah, run that for.
Say, many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken
They gonna
of.
speak evil of Yahusha,
And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you.
and because they lust after money, they gonna make merchandise of you.
Whose judgment now of a long time linger not, and their damnation slumber not.
It slumber not.
For if Elohim spared not the Malachim,
That's good, man. They going to hell. They going to hell. You know what he told Timothy? What Paul told Timothy? He said, preach the word. In season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort, and all manner of doctrine. He said, man, drop that word, man. Drop that word, man. Kidding about what he talking about. Y'all might see me talk to dudes in a certain space, and somebody, and anybody who know me well, they'll know what I tell. Like, you got it, bro. You know what I'm talking about? You got it. I'm not finna argue with you. You got it. If you feel like you got a W and that makes you feel better about, you know how low of an individual you got to be in accomplishments of life that you get giddy and excited off of winning a theological conversation in your mind because the other person don't want to argue with you. Nigga think, yeah, I don't want, you ain't realized, nigga, I just really just told you was stupid to your face. Because I just told you, no, you got it, bro. I'm good. I don't want to talk. I done had to tell dudes, bro, don't talk about me, about what we talking about. When I tell you I'm done, I don't want to talk to you no more. Don't ask questions. Well, I'm you doing whole stuff. If I told you I'm good, bro, move on from that topic. Don't try to attack the points that I'm talking about to try to get me to engage you again in the conversation when I just told your rusty behind, man, I'm good. What's wrong with you, nigga? You want to argue? You argue with your old man. These niggas crazy. You got to pay attention to that, man, because that don't be nobody but Satan. When I say Satan, I'm talking about in an adversarial position to get you out of pocket, to be unfocused on the mission. See, Satan would rather you have you arguing amongst yourselves so the sheep don't get fed. You know what I'm talking about? That's what he wants you to do. How do people benefit off of that? Why you think the people so dumb when it comes to the word? It ain't right. Come on, better Numbers 5, man. Give me verse 5. I just don't like it. And of course, y'all know I'll talk about it because I don't like it. And I'm talking about it for y'all to hammer in your brain repeatedly. Your mind need to be focused on your maker, not on dummies. You know what I'm saying? Not on false doctrine. Focus on your maker. Ain't no life in false doctrine. Ain't no life in a dummy. The life is in Yahusha. The life is in the Father. Focus on that. It's more important. Come on.
And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Yasharal, when a man or woman shall commit any sin, that man commit to do a trespass against Yahuwah, that person be guilty, then shall they confess their sin which they have done. He shall recompense his trespass with the principle thereof. And that unto said Numbers 5 and 5.
Yeah, I sent it too far. That's my fault. You were verse 1. Oh no, I didn't. You good. That's my bad.
In verse 7.
Go ahead. That's my bad. That's my bad.
Then they shall confess their sin which they have done. He shall recompense his trespass with the principle thereof, and add unto it the fifth thereof, and give unto him against whom he have trespassed. But if the man have no kinsman to recompense the trespass unto, let the trespass be recompensed unto Yahuwah, to the priest, beside the ram of the atonement, whereby an atonement shall be made for him.
Mm-hmm.
Every offering of all the qadash things of the children of Yasharal, which they bring unto the priest, shall be his.
Every sanctified offering that come to the priest shall be his. I want you to come over at Exodus 29, because at least we'll talk about that for a second. Exodus 29 and 15. When they say, I remember that dude that tried to get into it, and you further showed. And yeah, I had to do him like that. Because dude be wanting to argue. I'm not finna argue with you, bro. I don't care enough. The reason why I ain't gonna argue with you because I don't care about winning no argument about no word. We could argue about sports. Who cares? That's what that's regular stuff. You know what I'm talking about? That's regular human being stuff for men who own that type of time. Or like I understand it, like at his barbershop, that's a real black man's barbershop where they really have conversations about stuff all day long. That's different. You can have that argument. You could debate that all day if you want to. They ain't no big, because that's just men shooting the breeze, if you would. You know what I'm talking about? Just exposing and having a little middle jousting, and you know what I'm saying, and a little humor and some fun. Some conversation could get contentious because sometimes people really be holding fast to the answers. You know, that's just the reality of life. You have to pay attention to that. You know what I'm saying? Make sure stuff don't get out of hand. But with the word, though, I'm not doing that with you. I'm not doing. Matter of fact, let me just not do the word. On something that is plain black and white, like facts, I'm not doing that with you. Things that are subjective, music, sports, art, things of that nature, you know what I'm talking about? Well, you argue that all day long because that's just for fun. That's amusement. It's entertainment. You know what I'm saying? That's how men rock with each other in certain spaces. I ain't got no problem with that. That's not that serious. But things that are black and white, yeah, I'm not doing that with you, bro. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not doing that with you. You got it. You know what I'm saying? Damon told me about that a long time ago, man. If you know what you're talking about, what you arguing with him for? He said, but two or more, amen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, you do all that. You got to do all that, man. I'm telling you, because you got to protect your sanity, man. Niggas will drive you crazy out here, man. Not even say that. You going to drive yourself crazy. And you're going to drive yourself crazy doing something this man ain't even told you to do. That man ain't tell you to argue with them people. Some of y'all drive yourself crazy because you spend all your time trying to convince your family members to serve Yahuwah. Man, leave them people alone. Them people ain't asked you for no word. They told you, hey, we gonna be at grandma's house, and you took that as an opportunity. Y'all got that swine in here.
Guess what they're gonna do?
All that shrimp. And guess what they gonna do? They gonna cut that. I'm talking about porky getting cut.
If you don't like it, get out.
You know what I'm talking about? And they gonna look you dead in the face while they like this. Yeah, you smell that? Like you say, that's that swine that is divine and sublime. And they say, boy, Farrakhan ain't over here. You know what I'm saying? They gonna tell you all that. They gonna look you dead in your face and eat it. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna be mad at them because you came over there messing with them people. Them people ain't ask you for that information. Leave them people alone. If they want to eat catfish, let them eat it. You know what I'm talking about? What that got to do with you? You already knew they were eating that before they got there. You didn't come over there because you had a concern for their soul. You came over there to be a rabble rouser, an agent provocateur. That's what you went over there for. You went over there to cause chaos. So you could go back and tell your people how you was around here talking about, so you could tell all the other brews, see my family be persecuting me. Ain't nobody persecuting you, nigga. They sitting at the house. Who invited this nigga? That's what they doing. I told you to stop telling that nigga to come over here. Yeah, that's my baby. I love you. I ain't seen. Man, that nigga can't come over here no more.
Every time.
Every time. And you think it's the persecution of the word. Nah, nigga, you a douchebag, cuz. That's why. Because you don't know how to over there and be normal. But you'll sit around a bunch of brews and know this nigga smacking niggas' wives. You ain't got nothing to say about that, though. This dude is stone cold drunk. This nigga stealing. And you like to say, we ain't nobody perfect, brother. We all fall short. You pussy nigga. But you go around there to your people's house and point out every sin under the sun. I hate you niggas. I mean that from the depths of my soul. And so y'all on here know I ain't lying. God forbid any one of y'all is that man. That you go around there to your Christian people and send a family friends and point out every sin under the sun and sit around a bunch of brews and you know they wicked as hell. And you come up, ain't nobody perfect, brother. He that I've seen cast the first stone, you's a pussy nigga if I ever seen one. You this hypocrites to do that, bro. You a sucker. You's a sucker for that. And y'all need to hear that. Not as if you doing it, but if you know a nigga who doing it, so you can tell him you a sucker for that. Because if it's wrong over there, then it's wrong over here. Don't try to pay no respect to persons because you mad at the Christian church and you ain't gonna say nothing to this whole nigga over here because he around here sleeping with 3 different niggas' wives and your punk behind sitting there talking about, ain't my place to say nothing. But you always talking about your grandma with her doggone pork ribs, though.
Showing up to the Christmas party, so we
supposed to be celebrating Christmas.
Why you sure?
Then what you came over here for then? That's the part I don't understand. You stupid niggas go to these people's house and tell them they're not supposed to do it. Just stay home. You ain't got nothing better to do.
So you wanted to be around.
You wanted to be around there, but you wanted to mess with them people. That's what you wanted to do. You know what I'm talking about? That's what you wanted to do. And then say they don't fool with you. Try to make yourself out to be a victim. You're a real live sucker. That boy said, I need a plate. Man, God knows, boy. That nigga that's stupid. Yahuwah knows, boy. If my mama was still alive, boy, she'll tell you. When she was still celebrating Christmas, man, and Thanksgiving, man, I ain't go over there fooling with them. Shoot, mother can tell you. I ain't go over there fooling with them. I'm gonna be like, Uncle Greg over there. I'm like, well, shoot, tell that nigga I'm at the house. I ain't coming over there. He want to see me, I'm at the house. And if I would have went over there, I'm not finna bother them. Y'all over there eating that swine? You know what they would have did? You want something to eat? You know what my cousin would have did? Don't put no pork on my plate because she already know I don't eat pork. I ain't ate pork since 1996. So she already knew that. She would have did that anyway. That's all they gonna tell you. You ain't that easy. But she not even finna come at me like that because she already don't eat it. My mama already knew I didn't eat it. So I ain't have to worry about that. When I'm walking the house with my face balled up, look at this damn tree and these gifts. Come on, man. You already knew that before you went over there, man. You just miserable. You miserable. Because people who serve God, they ain't that type of stuff. Look here, you more vexed at a nigga celebrating Christmas than the fornicator that you fellowship with every week. That vex you more. Or the nigga who beat up his wife. You know what I'm talking about? Cuss his wife out. The brother who slander and bite against his other brother, that don't offend you, though. That don't offend you. That damn Christmas tree, though, you ought to go to hell. I'm talking about just to stick your toe in, tick your toe in so you can see you need to get it together. That just don't make no sense, man. He said it's hard to look at someone. For me, it ain't hard, to look at someone unlearned and see why Yahuwah might still. Oh, yeah, because he tell you who can have compassion on those who are ignorant and out of the way. You know what I'm saying? You have to have the ability to do that. But for me, it's not the. It's just that it's the same thing that people say, like Christians only talk about sexual sins, but don't talk about others. Brews only want to talk about sins against the organizational group that they don't like. But while other brews are sitting around doing the same thing, and you turn your head to it, you ain't got nothing to say. I don't respect that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you inside the house, then I'm gonna let you know, man, you need to tighten up, bro. You out of pocket. Like it ain't even that hard. I ain't gotta do wicked bad. I gotta do all that. Hey man, tighten up what you got going on. You gotta do better, my G. You know what I'm saying? That's it. It's not that serious. I ain't got to rail on you and say, you wicked bastard, you're gonna go burn in hell and all that. Like, who would do that? But a douchebag. All right, you out of pocket, man. What you got going on, man? What made you think to do that? All right, bro, you ain't tighten up on your backstroke, nigga. You know what time it is. Well, your soul on the line. What you doing? I would do somebody who ain't in the word the same way. It's no different. Because I don't care what you do. I don't care nothing about no Christmas. Nigga get around. I hate Christmas time. They say Merry Christmas. Man, you know what I tell them? Shoot, same to you. Dead serious, man. Somebody come to me and say Merry Christmas. I say same to you. You like it, I love it, baby. They say Happy Thanksgiving. Shoot, same to you. That's what you on. You don't know that's not like I'm walking around with a big sign on my head that say I don't celebrate holidays. Some people, it's an opportunity to preach the gospel to them. Boy, you ain't preaching no gospel. The first thing you finna talk about is how Christmas is pagan and Thanksgiving. That's what you finna talk about. Because if you were preaching some gospel, that stuff wouldn't even come up. I did hear same to you. You know what I'm talking about? Happy New Year, same to you. It ain't my New Year. It's your New Year, so shoot, have a happy one then. Straight up. Don't mean nothing to me. That don't offend me in the least bit. You know why? You live in a country where this is what everybody does. So why are you shocked when somebody greets you with what everybody does? You're in the minority.
Definitely out.
What's wrong with you? Y'all too grown for this.
Hey, you grew up doing it, so you can expect me to keep doing your own.
Hey man, everybody gonna think you celebrate Christmas in America. Why wouldn't they? Because everyone there are, you have to think about the surroundings of most people. Everybody there around does it. So of course they're gonna. It's an unconscious assumption that you do it too. Why wouldn't you? This is America. This is what we do. 4th of July, you don't celebrate. Everybody don't give a damn about no American independence. They like barbecue food and fireworks.
Yeah. I mean, but that'd be the same thing in any other country. Was, worship the Chinese holiday.
Yeah, like this is nigga. This is common for them. You around here with your face balled up. Somebody need to give you a hug. He said, Brother Marvin said when he greeted with it, he said, praise Yahuwah. Yeah, shoot, man, shoot. Praise God, man. What's this? Ain't no never, man. Come on, man. 29 to 15. We just need to talk on, because we need to talk about consecrated things, man. As far for sacrifices and offerings is concerned. Y'all can already tell I don't really like talking about offerings and all that stuff like that. But we need to learn it, though. You know? Especially for those who ain't never heard it before. Some of y'all who've been around here for a long time, y'all done already heard of it.
So you shall also take one ram, and Aaron and his son shall put their hands upon the head of the ram.
Mm-hmm.
You shall slay the ram. You shall take his blood and sprinkle round about upon the altar.
And you shall cut the ram
in pieces
and wash the
inwards of
and
him,
his legs
and put it unto his pieces and unto his head. You shall burn the whole ram upon the altar. It is a burnt offering unto Yahuwah, a sweet savor, an offering made by
See how
fire.
that takes us back to a whole burnt offering? Whole burnt offerings are not consumed. Notice he said to wash the inwards, because that's what he's seeking to do for you. Then look at what he said after he done cut it into pieces. Then he said you put it back together, and then you offer it whole. But we're going to get to that. He said, have you seen the Olympic opening mock the Last Supper? I did not. I probably have to YouTube search that, Zoe. I did not. I was not aware. He said, what you want for Christmas? Nothing? That boy, that's too. Say, funny you said that, because that's my usual response. Same to you. Enjoy. Yeah, man. Same to you, man. Ain't no pressure. I ain't, that junk ain't never bothered me. I ain't gonna lie to you. That junk ain't never bothered me. I got an understanding of human beings to a certain extent. You know, I ain't no master of the topic, but I do understand that most people don't mean no harm. Most people don't mean no harm. You know what I'm saying? You have to know that. You can't even go win a soul with that combative, contentious, you know what I'm talking about, interaction. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at every opportunity, if Yahuwah allow, is an opportunity to represent him and win a soul. And you don't win a soul by trying to tear down what they got going on. You win a soul by exalting him. I don't have to tear down Christmas to exalt him. I don't have to tear down Thanksgiving to exalt him. All I have to do is mention him. Here, tear it down just by the mere mention of his name. I ain't got to do all that. You know what I'm saying? Now, tearing down their altars for the purging of your iniquity, like it say in Isaiah 27, that's a different conversation. Because when there's a time to tear down idols, we're going to tear them whole down. You know what I'm talking about? But you don't do that with the regular people. You tear down the idol. When it's time to tear down the idols, you do that with the priests, ministers, and teachers of said idols. That's who you come at with that. You know what I'm talking about? You don't come at the common folk with that. That's what most bruised mistakes come in at. Like, I wouldn't attack a member of a congregation that has false doctrine. Why would I attack the people? You attack the teacher. You know what I'm talking about? Notice that Mashiach never came at the common people like he came at the scribes and Pharisees and Sadducees. He never came at them like that. You know what I'm talking about? You don't come at the people like that. Yeah, you come at the people who over them like that. If you're gonna go to war, you don't go to war with the members. You go to war with the head, stupid. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas crazy. You know what I'm saying? I ain't on that junk. Okay, bet that up, so. Amen, brother. Because all you're gonna do is just when you know that this person's not a teacher of whatever discipline that they're a part of, then you ought to be trying to win them. And then even with the teacher, you're not trying to come for them. You're trying to cut up whatever it is that they teaching if they coming at you. Like, I'm not stepping to no Muslim to tear down Islam. Like, just arbitrarily. But if there's this opportunity, I'm not going to hold that back. Like people say, so you're going to say your God better than everybody else's? Yes. Yes, I am. Unapologetically also. What, I'm supposed to be like your God? So no, I'm not doing that. I will tear that idol down. What you mean? I'm not here to spare feelings. You want somebody to spare your feelings, go find your mama. You know what I'm talking about? Your mama gonna spare your feelings. I'm not. You know what I'm talking about? Now your grandma might not spare him. I ain't doing it. Not my job. Don't care enough. Come on, man.
Verse 19.
Verse 19, Exodus 29.
And you shall take the other ram, and Aaron and his son shall put their hands upon the head of the ram.
You should kill the ram.
And take of his blood and put upon the tip of the right ear of Aaron, and upon the tip of the right ear of his sons, and upon the thumb of their right hand, and upon the great toe of the right foot.
I seen that, Emma, too. IUIC marching around Geno Jennings Church. I seen that junk out that made a plumb fool out of themselves. I would never went out there. I ain't gonna lie to you. If I was a member of IUIC and they went and did that, bro, I would have known from that day I won't be here tomorrow. Because you got me out here looking like a straight up clown. Because you want to have a conversation with a man who don't want to talk to you. What I look like begging somebody to talk to me who don't want to talk, and then make it seem like, see, I told you he was scared. Man, that's World Wrestling Entertainment, man. That's television, bro. Got time for that. Got time for that. Because at the end of the day, you only want to go at Geno because he got a larger platform. So you're really just trying to get exposure. That's marketing. That's a marketing ploy. That's all it is. That's a marketing. That's a marketing opportunity. You got time for that? Come on, man. Niggas trying to get members out this up.
And you shall take of the blood that is upon the altar and of the anointing oil and sprinkle upon Aaron and upon his garments and upon his
Now,
sons.
this chapter is dealing with setting apart the priest, by the way. We're going to get to that. I'm just laying the foundation. Because remember, we read in 1 Peter what? That you are qadash priesthood, a royal priesthood, offering up, lively stones, offering up spiritual sacrifices to Elohim by Yahushua HaMashiach. So we'll talk about the consecration part. And then we'll line that up with the gospel, y'all willing, on tomorrow. Come on.
And upon the garments of his sons with him, he shall be hallowed in his garments, and his sons with his son's garment with him. Also, you shall take of the ram the fat and the rump, and the fat that covers. I
also want you to remember right this here, right? Aaron is the high priest. Yahushua operates in the station of the high priest under the priesthood of Melchizedek. Aaron and his sons must be consecrated. If you're born of Yahushua, guess what that would make you his son? So you must be consecrated. So we have to line this up with the law. You did. Line this up, the law with the gospel, so you can see the end from the beginning, if you would. Continue.
And the fat that covered the inwards, and the caul above the liver, and the two kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, and the right shoulder. For it is a ram of consecration.
He said this is a ram that's literally supposed to be sanctified. And everything they talking about is the best part. Go ahead.
And 1 loaf of bread, 1 cake of oiled bread,
one wafer
out of the basket
of the what?
Unleavened bread. That is before you.
And you should put it all where?
In the hands of Aaron and in the hands of his sons.
And what they gonna do with
They
it?
shall wave them a wave offering.
Tell them what a wave offering is, man. Because we ain't talked about a wave offering yet.
Tenufa, a swinging, a waving, a
swing.
wave offering.
This is something that you lift up and literally wave before Yahuwah for his acceptance. Mashiach was a wave offering for when he resurrected from the dead at the time, because everybody they ain't been arguing that he didn't die. He died on. Let me ask y'all a question, man. I think I asked all this the last time, but I got to make sure it's in your memory. Why in the world would the Lord get up on the Sabbath? Why would he do that? Why would he do that? Let me ask y'all this question. When Mashiach was on the stake in the book of John and he gave up the ghost, what did he say? It is what? Now, when you read Genesis chapter 2, what does it say? It's finished. And then it said that then the seventh day came in, and what did Yahuwah do? Now, he told you in John chapter 5, as the Father do, the Son do what? Likewise. You understand? Is Matthew 1, is that a royal priesthood line? No. Matthew 1 is the genealogy that ties Yahushua to the covenants of Abraham and David. You know what I'm saying? Luke chapter 3 is the genealogy, which is Matthew chapter 1 is in First Chronicles. That genealogy is in Matthew 1. You can find that in First Chronicles. So you got the Matthew genealogy because he made a promise to Abraham and he made a promise to David that he would have a son to sit upon his throne. So you have to show a genealogy that ties Yahusha to that covenant that he made with both of those men. When you read Luke chapter 3 genealogy, that genealogy is the tie. That's why it ends with Adam. That same genealogy is in Genesis chapter 5. That ties him to being the son of God and therefore be able to redeem all the sons of Adam, because no matter whether it's Ham, Shem, or Yafet, they all come from Adam because they come from Noah, and Noah come from Adam. And this shows you how he redeems all mankind from death. I know everybody likes to say that's Mary and Joseph's genealogy. That's a nigga who ain't been taught by God, I can tell you that. Because if they telling you that's Mary and Joseph genealogy, how that's going to line up with the book? When these two genealogies are literally in your law. Literally. Luke 3 is Genesis 5, name for name for the most part. Name for name. I'm talking about name for name. Nobody even considers, why does it end with Adam? It has to end with Adam. He can't be the second Adam without it, which means man can't be redeemed from the sin of Adam, which is death. And it shows you, my God, today, you know what I'm talking about? And it shows you how literally what's in Genesis 3 and 22, that if they eat from the tree of life, they shall live forever. That genealogy literally showing you how he gonna set you free from sin and death. Niggas overlook it. Niggas overlook it. You know what I'm talking about? And Matthew 1 is to show you how you justify by faith, because that's how Abraham and David was justified with Yahuwah. But see, that's too easy and simple to see. It has to be something deeper and carnal. Now, see, we could sit around a bunch of brews and they'll argue, no, that ain't what that mean. And I'm going to let you think that's not what that mean, and I'm going to walk away from you. See, the difference between me and most is I don't have to prove to you nothing. I already know it's right. I knew it was right before I sat here. I knew it was right before I met you. So I don't need to prove nothing to you. And that's why I always thank the Lord for Damon Andrews for telling me that as a young man. Why is you arguing with a nigga and you already know you right? And I'm not talking about know you right out of a sense of pride and arrogancy. You know that the information is verified as being factual. So why are you arguing with this man about that? And what did Paul tell you? Which is the same thing my big cuz told me. If a man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. Read me John 5 and 22.
For the Abba judge no man, but I've committed all judgment unto the Son, that all shall honor the Son, even as they honor the
question
Abba.
he said is Yahushua referring to himself as the Father? No. He's saying the Father has given him this authority. See, most of the things that he's saying from when he said everything the Father do, the Son do likewise, and everything that the Father do, he taught the Son. He's letting it be known that judgment, the ability to make people alive, the Father has bestowed that authority and put it in his hand. You know what I'm talking about? To be able to extend unto us, the Father has given that authority and leeway for him to do so. What was you holding before we read John 5? Because we got to get out of here. It's about to be midnight.
Exodus 29, 24.
All right, cool. Oh, no, I was talking about the second thing. So listen, and that's right, Sister Regina, I seen what you said that. He said it's finished. Now, Exodus 31, he said he refreshed himself. You know what I'm saying? That's right. And genealogies is a whole nother deal. Because you have a lot of people, we the Israelites, well, truth be told, if we was to hold the standard of the word, none of us could be able to prove you an Israelite because you ain't got no genealogy to prove it. They didn't go by, we fit the curses to prove they were Israelite. That's not how they operated. Just to be 100% honest with you. They didn't do that. That's what we told the brother the other day. Man, you can't talk about you know Levite and you ain't got no genealogy to prove you know Levite. The book say if you couldn't prove it, you would be put out. The priesthood is polluted. You can't prove you an Israelite by genealogy, how they would do it. Because you're going to have to be able to link yourself to somebody that's in the books of Chronicles and all them genealogies from every tribe that's mentioned and every person that's mentioned. You're going to have to be able to link yourself, and you can't do it. You don't have no way to do it. So that's why you ain't even supposed to get into all that and have them conversations. Because guess what? Not a single solitary person who's going to be in the kingdom of heaven is going to be a natural born person. Yeah, does the gates of the city, do the gates of the city of the names of the 12 tribes of Israel? Absolutely they are. But every person who's going to be in the kingdom of heaven going to be a son of God. So what good is your flesh there? You need to have a genealogy in heaven, not no genealogy on no parchment scroll. What good is it to have your name written in earth but blotted out in heaven? You's a fool. Indeed they did, good sir. Indeed they did. You have to realize that, man. Look here, y'all know what I'm finna tell you. It might be a nice, clear sky where you at. And if you open your window or open your door and stick your head out the window or stick your head out the door, you know what I'm talking about? And you're going to see some stars in the sky. And every star in the sky is representative of a name written in heaven. I hope that Yahuwah is yours. Every star in the sky is representative of something. Don't you realize the heavens is his scroll? He literally tell you that. And every star is a Kokab. That's a progeny. That's a son of Mashiach. Every single star representative of a man's name. That's the genealogy in heaven you looking at. You just thought them was some stars in the sky. You just thought them was some stars in the sky. Them names written. Look here. You think I ain't finna have no member roll around here, man. You know the closest to a member roll we gonna get is people name on an LLC for the bank account that be attached to the congregation. That's about it. That's about as close as you gonna get to a member roll. It ain't my job to number the people. It ain't my job to put their name on nothing. That's not my job. It's not what I'm supposed to do. The people didn't do that. Need no doggone member roll. You need to be he say the members of his body. He know who in his on his roll. That's all that matters. I don't need you on my roll. I don't need to make one. I ain't making one. For what? For what cause? For what cause? No, I'm not doing that. Doesn't make sense. And y'all know that. I ain't never been on that. I ain't doing no stupid junk like that, man. He said, I know we ain't supposed to steal, but I got to steal that one. Oh, shoot. Man, you good, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, who cares? Because at the end of the day, you not my members. You his members. I'm his member. So how you my members? You see how dumb that sounds? Now, of course, you can say that in regards to like conversation. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm talking about his his thought process, mindset. Nobody is my member because everybody are his members. He said my members were formed before they were ever written in a book. You know what I'm talking about? So nobody can be my member. So what's the purpose of having a role? It doesn't serve any purpose. You know what I'm saying? But that roll up there in them skies, man, that genealogy up there in heaven, I pray to Yahuwah, that's your name that you see. Every star you see is a name written in his scroll, in his genealogy. That's what you need to be worried about. That's the genealogy you need to be worried about. Stop trying to prove you're Israelite, nigga. You better become a son of God or you going to hell. Let that be known. What good is it if you scream you a son of Jacob, but you ain't a son of God? You going to hell, cuz. You going to hell. That's what ain't nobody telling you. Boy, if you are not a son of God, bro, when this man get here or when you hit that grave, boy, you going to hell, cuz. You're not a part of his family. That's why he say you got to be born again. That which is ruach, and that which is flesh, and the flesh profit nothing. You gonna go to hell, cuz. That's what these niggas not telling you. Well, they got you screaming about how we the Israelites. Ain't nobody told you better be born again and become a son of the living Elohim. You better become of uncorruptible seed versus corruptible seed. You don't need to be the seed that came out your daddy. You need to be that seed that come from up above, or you going to hell. Ain't nobody telling us that, though. And I ain't talking about telling us that for the aspect of going to hell. I'm talking about the aspect of understanding the seriousness of becoming a son of God and being born again. Ain't nobody telling us that. So we walk around here floating like dummies, crashing. And nobody cares. That junk ain't cool, man. That junk ain't cool, man. That junk ain't cool, man. That junk is not cool, bro. That junk is not cool. And we walk around here like it's cool. It's not cool. Because if you leave here and you ain't got this man's spirit in you, that means you didn't believe, which means you couldn't be transformed. You not gonna make it. He not gonna raise you from the dead and say, yeah, that's a great A Israelite right there. They ain't the son of God, but I'm gonna let you in because you're gonna go to hell. And ain't nobody pressing on us about how serious that is. He said, I used to look up at the stars with hope. I never knew I would come to hear about stars. I praise you. We ain't talked about that in a long time. But yeah, man, run that for him real quick. Read that Genesis 1-14. Run that for him real quick. Just so you can see the basis of why that's said.
And Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of Shamayim to divide the day from the night. Let them be for signs.
Pause. He said, let him divide the day from the what?
From the night.
Didn't this man tell you in 1 Thessalonians, you not children of the night, but of the what? So that means you would make a separation between you and the sinner. My God, today. And you think that's about some doggone stars in the sky. He telling you, you need to make separation between them and you. Which is what we talking about when he said the qadash things of the offering belong to the priest, because he said those who are sanctified by faith that is in me, and everyone who's sanctified by the faith, guess who you belong to? Oh, the clouds? No. He ride on the clouds. The clouds is like his vehicle, meaning he just come in the heavens. Yeah, they just come in the heavens. Come on, Sid.
And let them be for signs, for seasons, and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of Shamayim, to give light upon the earth, and it was so.
To give light upon the earth, and it was so.
And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, the lesser light to rule the night. The stars also.
Tell them what stars is, man. Listen what Kokav mean by definition. Kokav.
A star. Messiah, brothers, youth, numerous progeny.
Numerous progeny. Mashiach's brother. You know, progeny is offspring. This is the sons of God he talking about. Read Genesis 2:1. He said, let us take an opportunity to seize it. Amen. Amen. Indeed, Brother Omar. Now listen what he said in Genesis. Because remember, right, Genesis 1 is everything he made, correct? Mm-hmm. Now listen how he ends Genesis 2. Start Genesis 2:1. Listen what he said.
Thus Shamayim and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them, and on the seventh day.
All the harmony of heaven was finished.
And on the seventh day, Elohim ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made.
Listen.
Elohim baruched the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he rested from all his work which Elohim created and made.
Listen.
These the generations of Shamayim and of the earth when they were created, in the day that Yahuwah Elohim made.
Tell them what generations means. You got two words for generation: Toledeth and Doré. And this Toledeth. And guess what Toledeth means? Descendancy. Why did there need to be a descendancy in heaven? What is a descendant? Remember, he told you to end from the beginning. So he's telling you about how these people's names are written in heaven. Remember, he said these are those who are in the Lamb's book of life from the foundation of the world. The man sitting here showing you, boom, from the beginning, your name's already up here. Because he's telling you to end from the beginning. So he's telling you how it ends, but you think this how it starts. Read again.
So these are generations of Shamayim and of the earth when they were created, in the day that Yahuwah Elohim made the earth and Shamayim. Mm-hmm. And every plant of the field before.
That's good. So what you think this is? Every star in the sky is representative of a name written in heaven. And again, I hope that Yahuwah, for every person on this stream who gonna watch it back, every soul on this clubhouse and under this roof, that every star you ever seen in your life, that prayerfully that one of them stars, that was your name. Them names up there, man. Them just ain't no stars. Remember what it is in Philippians, I think it is. Let me find it real quick. We're gonna get off of y'all. I know that. I know it's Philippians chapter 2. Hold on. That ain't it. Where is it at? I'm not tripping. Hold on. But you see, these type of conversations don't appeal to most people. Because most people don't Most people don't love the word like that where it appeal to them, and they rejoice in the goodness and greatness of our Maker and the works that He has done towards us. Read me 1 Thessalonians 5:1 real quick while I find this here one before. Listen, 1 Thessalonians 5:1. Go ahead, Steve.
But of the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that are right unto you.
Mm-hmm.
For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so come as a thief in the night. But when they shall say shalom and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, they shall not escape. But you, brethren, are not in darkness.
You're not in darkness.
That the day should overtake you as a thief. You are all the children of light, children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as others, but let us watch and be sober.
Be sober, baby.
For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober.
Them boys try to tell you, man, the freaks come out at night. Come on.
Put on the breastplate of faith and love, and for a helmet, the hope of salvation. For Elohim have not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach.
Listen what he said. You are children of the what?
Who died for us. Whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with him.
Listen.
Wherefore comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as also you do.
Go ahead.
We beseech you, brethren, to know them which labor among you and are over you in the Lord, and admonish you to esteem them very highly in love for their work's sake. Be at shalom among yourselves.
Back it up and listen to what he said, man. Read that again. Listen to what he told
you. You are all children.
Back it up. Back it up. Listen to what he told you.
All the way from verse 1?
No, the verse you just read. If you just read verse 4, or you read verse 3. Well, that man said, esteem them who labor among you. Listen to what he's telling you to do.
Oh, that was verse 12. Say, we beseech you, brethren, to know them which labor among you.
He said, you need to know them which labor among you.
And are over you in the Lord.
And they're over you in the Lord and correct you or admonish you, encourage you, whatever the case may be, in the Lord. What he said that you need to esteem them what?
Them very highly in love for their work.
He said in what?
In love.
Not esteem them highly as forth as nut riding. He said in love for the labor that they doing. Give them honor and respect and love for what they doing for you. You know what I'm talking about? We're not talking about that nut riding. We're not talking about putting nobody on no pedestal. It's not what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? See, I know a lot of dudes will probably grab verses like that and use that as a means to manipulate. You know what I'm talking about? But that's not what he's talking about. He said you need to know them. That means you got to be able to discern those who labor amongst you, who have authority in the Lord, and give them proper respect in love. That's it. Go ahead.
Now we exhort you, brethren, warn them that are unruly.
They definitely do, Ernest.
Comfort the feeble-minded, support the weak, be patient toward all. See that none render evil for evil unto any, but ever follow that which is good, both among yourselves and to all. Rejoice evermore, pray without ceasing, and everything give thanks, for this is the will of Elohim and Mashiach.
Man, you supposed to be in that verse 1, God.
I read all that.
But you was reading fast. Come on back to verse 5, man.
Say you are all the children of light.
You the children of what?
Of light.
And the children of the what?
Of the day.
We are not of what?
Of the night, nor of darkness.
What? Listen, and what he told you them lights was to do to separate the what? The day from the night. So when you come over to Philippians 2:12, this man say, wherefore, my beloved, as you've always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but not much more in my absence. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. For it is Elohim which work in you both to will and to do good. Pleasure. Do all things without murmuring and disputing, that you might be blameless, harmless, the sons of Elohim, without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom you shine as lights in the world. Ain't that what he told you them lights in the heaven was for? So there has to be a separation. But he told you Elohim is light and no part. So come on, man. He said, if you say you in him and dwell in darkness, you lie. And the truth ain't in you. You know what I'm talking about? So read with Job 38 and 32. So when you take these things into consideration, when you look at these stars in the sky, that's a whole nother deal, man. Come on.
Can you bring forth Mazaroth in his season?
That's he talking about we talked about Mazaroth a while back. That's something a little different because that's a constellation. So we're not talking about constellation. That's something different. Remember, we talked about Mazaroth. We spent about a month on that. But you can tell him what Mazarov means. My memory it's not coming to mind. Praise you, who is this weekend.
That's the 12 signs of the zodiac and their 36 associated constellations.
It's a cluster of stars, and that's a whole nother deal. I don't know if we named the video with Mazarov in it, but I know we dealt with it. There might be a Job 38 in the playlist. Let me look and see.
You definitely went over these.
Yeah, we
did. A while back ago.
Yeah, it's probably about a year or so.
I think you talked about all of these Pleiades, Orion.
Yeah, we did. We had to end up doing all that. I forgot what sparked that. There ain't no Job 38 playlist, so then ain't no telling what's one that John. That's under. I thought I did do that. I didn't. Ain't no telling what playlist. Ain't no telling what that's under. What that's at. So we talk about that wave offering, right? Because it's late, man. We gotta stop. You know what I'm talking about? And we'll deal with all that there, man. Y'all willing on the morrow, because this is a multitude of other things in there. So hallelujah for Yahushua, because it's after midnight. I appreciate y'all time. I bless y'all at the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all willing, we'll come back at Exodus 29. We still gotta swing back to Psalms 51 and all this here. But again, like I mentioned the other night, you know what I'm saying? Wednesday night is to be specific. Give me a second, man. Remind me. You're the offering. Peace, Brother Joseph. Yes, sir. So you're the offering. You know what I'm saying? You're the offering. So you're the offering, and you're the most qadash thing. I praise you, who am, and you the most qadash thing. You belong to the priest, and he desires the qadash things. The most holy things has always been. Amen, Brother Marco. You be safe out here too, bro. I love you too, bro. You know what I'm saying? Have always been his. It's always been the priest. You have to stop looking at these animal sacrifices, thinking about bulls and goats. You know what I'm talking about? And understand that in certain instances, you represent those sacrifices being given to the high priest. If you believe that you've made a covenant with him by sacrifice, like Psalms say, or you believe that, you know what I'm saying, offer yourself as a living sacrifice, or that you believe like that, like what Paul wrote, or you believe what Peter wrote, that you're making spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Elohim by Yahushua HaMashiach. So if you believe that, then you belong to him. All we're talking about is a shift in your mindset. I'm not going to be sitting here arguing about no sacrifice and no lambs and goats when that man never cared about that. You know what I'm saying? But when we were talking about those sacrifices of righteousness, you know what I'm talking about? And the sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination, even much more when he bring it with a wicked mind. We have to turn around and begin to understand our thought process. Yeah, most definitely, Joseph. Most definitely. I can definitely see that. Being faithful unto death. You know what I'm saying? I like what he said, strengthen those things that are ready to die. Amen, Brother Ernest. You know what I'm saying? And the things that we want to zabak or slaughter or kill, the Hebrew word for sacrifice, are the things that are of the flesh. But then also making the sacrifices that are of righteousness, which bring esteem to Yahuwah by your labor of love. Because as he said, he is not unrighteous to forget your labor of love, and that you serve the saints and do serve. You know what I'm talking about? And again, I keep impressing this point because this point is the only thing that most brews or people in general, let me not even say brews in general, want to focus on. Everybody think the work is preaching. It's a multitude of things that can be done that are labor to the saints that ain't got nothing to do with preaching. But it would mean that you would have to cleanse your heart and actually have a care and concern for people. You know what I'm talking about? A love for people. Most people don't have those things. Most people don't have those things. Most people don't care about people. So that's why they only want to preach. They only want to teach. Because you can throw precepts at people, but that don't mean you care about people. You know what I'm saying? One thing for certain and two things for sure. Hamashiach taught plenty word, but he cared about people. You know why? Because his father cares about people. And you know why? Because Elohim is love. And how do we know that? Because Yahuwah Elohim, merciful, gracious, abundant in goodness and truth, long-suffering and forgiving sin, iniquity, and transgression. Man, that's love, cuz. Shalom, Sister Gina. Amen. Amen. That's love, cuz. What you think that is? Why you think we paused and looked at Tabitha, aka Dorcas, and it said the alms deed, the mercy and compassion she showed, and then you read about the virtuous woman, and it said in her tongue is the law of kindness. She's a merciful and compassionate woman, and not merciful and compassionate to somebody to where it benefit her, because a lot of women, they're only merciful to people who get a benefit. You know what I'm talking about? Just like certain men only serve people if they're going to get a benefit, which is why the Lord told you, hey, yeah, when you do this here, do it for the people who can't pay you back. You'll get paid at the resurrection of the just. See, most people don't want to do that because you can't see the resurrection of the just. So I want my reward right now. I need prayers go up, blessings come down. You going to hell because you stupid. You know what I'm talking about? Because you don't know how Yahuwah work. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how he worked. I ain't gonna lie to you, at least what I've seen. That's one of the biggest reasons why you don't want no woman teaching you no word. At least what I done seen in the Christian church, because she gonna teach you that God gonna give you monetary compensation. Now we know it's plenty of false prophets in that regard. Men, Creflo Dollar, Kenneth Copeland, and all them come to mind. You know what I'm talking about? But we talking about in general the people that you done never heard of. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you don't live, man. This man ain't handing out lollipops and dollar bills, nigga. He ain't your uncle rattling keys telling you go get a check sold out the trunk. Oh, man. I said the one thing y'all had let me know that my labor of love, those 30s, had nothing to do with the denomination. Indeed. Peace, Brother Omar. Nah, I feel you. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all willing, man. We'll be back on tomorrow and do it again. You know what I'm talking about? And yeah, man, y'all willing to this time. I know y'all ready to go to bed. Yes, sir, Scope, man. Hold it down, my G. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all ready to lay it on down. I can't say I blame you. Y'all willing, man, till then. I know some of you niggas already slobbing on your pillow.